Good morning, chat. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Tuesday evening. We're back for more Element 3 action. Back for the second half of round number 3. I hope everyone's having a good day so far. It is hot as fuck in Canada right now, let me tell you. It's like 34 degrees. Americans can convert on your own. Holy shit. We got brand new commands for Mini Siege. Give them a try. What's going on, Camhawk? First person in the stream. What's up, Justin? Tink? Akasaya? Polycount? Mike muted. Mike shouldn't be muted. Is my mic muted? Don't bait me like that. Don't bait me like that. You had this stream muted. Bruh. What's up, Ratley? Which game are we watching first? We need to put it to a vote. Let me check to see. R6 Esports NA isn't even live yet, so I think we'll wait a minute for the vote. Yeah, B stream's on a 10-minute timer. R6 Esports NA is offline, so I'll let people trickle in first. We have some crazy new commands. Do try them out. This music's loud. The song always starts quiet. We got some cool new commands. Exclamation point leaderboard is pretty fun. Exclamation point my plants, my disables, and exclamation point my KD now shows you that shows you your ranking. And it updates in real time. So you can get all your stats. You can get all your stats immediately. The plants and the disables are have not been tracked until today. So everybody's plants and disables are currently at 0. Yeah. So far there are 0 plants from anybody. But as the season goes on, people will accumulate some plants. There's no leaderboard for plants or anything. You can see it in the Discord when I post the full sheet, but that'll be the only way to track your plants and disables. NA just went live. Let's go. 10-minute timer on that one too. So we got probably about 10 minutes till the game start up today. Mini Siege update over New Blood. Appreciate that. Did you just get called disabled by the bot? No. Oh. Try 103 with 100% humidity. Yeah, your country has air conditioning though, doesn't it? Your bot would be correct. My bot is not going to accuse anybody of being disabled. Mini Siege Pro League. Dude, one day we're going to get this shit to be so advanced that, like, you can choose your operators. There's going to be leagues. There's going to be teams. We're going to have tournaments. I hope you're ready. I'm just going to keep improving it. Keep building on it. My only concern is, like, one day it might just start running too slowly, because it's got to update at least once a second to keep pace with the timer. So that's my only concern, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. The games today, again starting in about 5 to 10 minutes, are: first, we start with the BO1s, the teams that are 1-1. We actually had some banger games. We can watch either Fluffy Aimers versus Upper Decky, which is the Foxay Dream Team, versus Fluffy Aimers is like JJ Blast, Rice, Nick Deity, rival. Or we can watch Team Cruelty, the #1 team from Mexico, up against Karn and Co., the #1 team with Karn on it. And then after that, we're going to be watching one of 2 best of 3s. We can watch the 2-0 game, which is Wildcard versus Aerial Rise. Or if for some reason chat votes for it, we can watch we can watch Glow Emoji's team lose to Team Sesh. That's the other option. Are there cheaters in Mini Siege for authenticity? I should add that for April Fools. I did officially remove Nightbot from the standings. FA versus Upper Deckies? We'll take a vote. We'll take a vote. People like watching Upper Decky. Upper Decky's probably the most popular team, maybe in the whole tournament. They might be more popular than Wildcard, to be honest. Song name right now. What's up, Trey? This is Windy and Ripley from the Sonic Adventure soundtrack. If you want some epic gameplay, Nyx might be streaming. Nyx has been on the grind, bro. No worries, Trey. Hope you've been doing well. We're watching some Element 3 today. Today, chat, I went and saw a wedding venue for the first time. Jess and I went down, we saw a place. It wasn't great. We didn't really like it, so we're gonna have to look at some more places. But it was the first venue that we checked out. Games are being streamed on twitch.tv/R6esportsNA and twitch.tv/TPL_live. Is the stream playlist public? Yes, it's kind of hard to find. I really should link it somewhere, but I can link it in chat for you right now. There's the playlist. But I went and saw a wedding venue. It was okay. It wasn't bad. But it wasn't really what we're looking for. Weddings are expensive. Nobody told me that. Watch party Argentina versus Canada. See, I would do the watch party for Argentina versus Canada because, like, that's a huge, important game. But then we have to watch soccer. I don't know about that one. I watched, like, the last 5 minutes, probably, of Canada versus... Who do they play? Venezuela. And I watched the penalties of that game, too, because it ended 1-1. And, it was alright. It was kind of hype. The more you watch hockey, the more you feel shitty about soccer. I promise, and this is going to piss off the Europeans, literally, that will happen to anybody. I genuinely believe if Europeans watched hockey, they would start to dislike soccer more and more. I don't think American football could sway Europeans. I don't think they'd ever get into it. I don't think basketball could sway Europeans. I don't think they'd ever get into it. Hockey, though? If it had the marketing of soccer, it'd take over the world. I promise you. Red Roke, are you casting today? Insane, Spy62. Insane. Do I need to also close predictions? I do. Who won that game? It was 6K in overtime. Only one person bet on 6K winning in overtime. The Small Soldiers bet 10 channel points. I don't even think they're here right now. They're about to get a fucking bag of channel points. On tomorrow? Hell yeah. Makers did throw. Makers honestly threw in all 3 maps. Makers, I think, were in good positions on all 3 maps in the best of 3, and they somehow lost 2 of them. Insane. It was 8-6, 7-5, 8-7, so, like, obviously close series. It was a banger series. I mean, like, the level of play was not that high. But in terms of, like, closeness, if you're a huge Makers fan or a huge 6K fan, all 5 of you guys, I'm sure it was a really exciting match. If 6K lost, they should have just picked up Makers at that point. I was about to say, I don't know if they'd have the funds, but I genuinely don't know who would get paid more. The, like, 4th best MXPL team importing a bunch of old Brazilians, or the #1 team in NACL. Probably 6K does pay their roster more, but I have no idea. Repair the game, please. I'll get right on it. Never let Packer have defuse again. Bro just loved... I won't get into it. I won't get into it. Am I watching Upper Decky or Karn? We're going to run a vote. We're going to let chat decide. You hate calling out players? I mean, it's not Packers' fault. It's like a team issue, right? Packer had some bad moments, but, like, I don't know. The team just felt lost going into their late rounds. 6K have a Coca-Cola sponsor and a Zowie sponsor. Doesn't mean they pay their players. Like, safe assumption, fair, but doesn't necessarily mean. What's going on? 1? Pay them with Coke. It feels almost stereotypical that the Mexican team is sponsored by, or that a Mexican org is sponsored by Coca-Cola. That company has a fucking death grip on Mexico. It's actually ridiculous. That's honestly a huge GeoGuessr strat. If you ever see if you're like in Latin America and you don't know where you are, and you see an ad for Coca-Cola, click Mexico every single time. It literally always works. Given how E3 has gone, is NAT2 over LATAM at the moment? It's a good question. Let's take a look. Currently, the teams that have gone to... Currently, the only team in first place at Element 3 is an MXPL team. Whereas NAT2, you know, they got some teams that are doing well. But, like, Makers lost to 6K. Aerial Arise are going to lose today. WildCard Aces already lost a game. SSG Academy lost to 6K. It looks like, at least right now... I don't know, though. Like, 6K is not the best MXPL team. Cruelty is, right? So it's odd. I would say it's honestly up to debate. It feels very even, 50-50, between NA Tier 2 and MXPL right now. Because, like, Cruelty lost to Aimkey, but then the best team is 6K. But then 6K's game against Makers was, like, super-duper close. But then Cruelty's better than 6K, so if we can write off the Aimkey game, then in theory, Cruelty is, like, significantly better than Makers. I think right now, I hate to say it, but my honest, unbiased opinion is that MXPL is probably... The top of MXPL is probably a little bit better than the top of NA Tier 2. But, like, it's really hard to judge. They're very close right now. LG wins all of Element 3. LG have forfeited their spot in Element 3. Last I heard, Element 3 have dropped out, or Luminosity have dropped out of Element 3. Camera's crisp. Sony Alpha 6000. It's pretty good. Shout out Faceit for buying me that, for buying me the camera and forgetting to ask for it back. Okay, chat, we need to do a poll. Who are we watching today? At least for the first game. The first game is BO1. And we can switch it up for game 2. But we can either watch Fluffy Aimers versus Upper Decky. Fluffy Aimers is JJ Blast's team against the Upper Decky, which is Foxay and Foxay and Dream's team. So that's option 1. Fluffy versus Upper Decky. Or do you want to watch Cruelty versus Karn & Co., the #1 team from Mexico versus the #1 team with Karn on it? I give you 2 minutes. Put your votes in now. Participate in democracy. Be the change you want to see in the world. No idea what the maps are going to be for Cruelty versus Karn, but at least for Upper Decky versus Fluffy Aimers, we're watching... Again, it's BO1. We're watching Clubhouse. Take that how you will. Who is the LG replacement? I don't know if there will be a replacement. I don't really know what the format is. Would I say LATAM are the worst tier 1 league right now? Undoubtedly, yes. No, MENA is a step ahead of the Hispanic region for sure. Thank you for the 5 stream streak, Timberwolf. Fluffy Aimers is a real org? I don't think so. I think they just have a cool picture. We can check JJ Blast's Twitter profile, but I kind of doubt it. Fluffy Aimers. What the fuck? Fluffy Lifestyle and Esports? Wait, is this actually a real org? What the fuck? I just thought it was like a... They got merch, chat. They got a plushie. It's kind of cute. I wonder how... I would love to know the lifetime sales of this. How many they've ever sold. Do they have good teams? Chat, has anybody heard of any of these CS players? Content creators? Interesting. No comment. I was about to say, it might be nice to get sponsored by these guys, but I don't know if they'd want me. Alright. They got 4,500 followers. I mean, that's not nothing. Oh shit, we're starting. Alright, we're going to watch this game at least while we wait for the other game to start. Fluffy Aimers versus Upper Decky won the vote anyways with 70%. So we're going to watch them regardless.
I can't wait to see it played. Next to fall, though, is going to be
Korea over Southeast Asia over Japan over Meta over LATAM. Aren't you missing? You're missing OCE. OCE is between Southeast Asia and Japan, but otherwise your ordering is correct, Axon. I don't know if they'd pick me up, but you never know.
So no surprises really there, Irish, on who's getting banned out. So far we're staying pretty.
Yeah.
People make fun of NA when they realize they've won the most invitationals. Is that true? Is it tied? It's tied, isn't it?
Maybe an Azami pick. But like you were talking about,
because NA won with Continuum, with Space Station, with TSM, and Europe won with Penta, with G2, and with G2 again. Right? It's tied. And then Brazil has won twice. I'm sorry, but Xbox does not count. I'm going to get hate for this take, but Xbox is a different game. It doesn't count.
After the first 3 rounds, once they switch.
Yeah, so see down to the church arsenal for site #1.
I'm talking about an esport that is played on PC. There once upon a time, you know what, there still is. There is an esport called Rainbow Six Siege that's played on console. And it's a great esport. I won't say anything bad about it, but it's a different game from the game that's played on PC. And so I don't count it in terms of counting R6 Esports PC championships. That's my take. You can disagree, that's fine. But we do need to gamble. Who wins this map? I'll let you bet your channel points now. Your options are the Aimers in regulation, the Aimers in OT, Fox's team in OT, or Fox's team in regulation. I give you 2 minutes to make your bet. Who wins this map?
Tier 1 player in the lobby right now.
You watch more console low-key now with Jinxie? A lot of people do. The console tournaments are fire. I won't say anything bad about the console tournaments going on, but it's a different fucking game. And their championships should be counted differently.
We're going to be able to still open up those hatches. One of them already being open as you start to see players rotating back down to sight. The thing is, we still
Fluffy Gamers are also playing in Valorant right now. Bro, who cares?
absolutely necessary. If he isn't droned out, if he isn't put onto him.
Dude, what a choice. We could either watch NA tier 2, Valorant, or soccer. It's tough out here.
Nick is completely
Is Fox not playing?
point on the roam.
I have not. Oh!
Playing diligently and saying, okay,
Fox's team, which he's not currently on. Yeah, apparently Kino is playing? How is that allowed? How the fuck is that allowed? Alright. Did he tweet anything about it?
Don't need to do anything except leave Nick alone because all on his lone
Foxe.
and makes it even more difficult.
Kino did not tweet about it.
That's right, now into a
Foxe tweeted, and I quote, "Me and my dogs went to an art exhibit."
at a huge
And it's him and Fish at an art exhibit.
Some of that vertical pressure started to hit some of those sight lines opened up.
Interesting.
Maybe try to find a pick or two so they can start to get themselves back into the execution. C4 goes out. Not gonna
And
claim
Melted
anything,
replacing
but
Hyper.
still on the back end.
Interesting moves being made here. I got to imagine these are subs. All right, you may want to reconsider your channel points based on this. Nothing against Kino and Melted. Oh, Melted's crazy. Nothing against him at all. My bad. Anybody picking Fluffy Aimers may need to reconsider.
The lone man upstairs who was causing the drama earlier in the round now has 20 seconds to try to disrupt this plant. It goes into a post.
Hyper might be gone.
In the Moto area.
That's crazy.
Fires through. This is looking tough.
I wish I knew what happened.
Melted. Just gonna
Kino decides he wants to be on a real team.
down, and that's
Nick and Rival do a fantastic job of getting those early round picks, putting Upper Decky at the man disadvantage, and then doubling it so quickly. Even to the last few seconds of the round, as Upper Decky were
Let me know what that
setting
is for
up to
volume. I think that's
execute,
okay.
Nick was still on the roam, still being an absolute menace. So in a 5 versus 3,
They did
when
not
you
drop
still have
Hyper. He's on vacation or
completely
something.
on
All
the
right.
mid-floor, you know, tucked away and stripped, but that's still a lot of pressure as you walk down the main stairs. It looks
I guess
so
M80
unwinnable
aren't
for
playing in
Upper
this
Decky.
tournament, so there's no real conflict, but it is a little bit odd,
Melted and
considering
Dexter
this is
just
like
kinda
a
look around,
tournament
Dream
for
gets a
money,
pick
which
for
has like
himself,
tier
gets
1
wiped
and tier
down,
2 teams.
And the tier 1 experience of these players really comes shining through because that was heroics. That was exactly what we talked about in the pre-show. This team,
Tier 1 teams
even
are
if
forced to
everything is
play in the
going against
Brazilian
them, these
Super Cup.
players
What
are
the
just
fuck is the
that
Brazilian
experienced
Super
and
Cup?
just that good.
yeah, huge round.
Super Copa do Brazil. Hold on, I
What do we
found it.
do? We're gonna take it up top. We're gonna try a little bit more
Oh,
of that,
interesting.
usually
Wait, this is kind of a hype
primary
tournament.
site area, gym, bedroom, and it's a classic, right? If you've got
Why are
these
like all the
individual
tier 1
heroics,
teams?
we need to
Oh no,
force
they're
some of
not.
these
I was gonna say, why are they all in the
engagements
same group?
outside of the site. So we bring along the castle and the Azami.
When is
here,
this?
to,
This is
you
this
know, set
weekend?
up some of those crossfires
Shit, I
and
kinda wanna
negate
watch
some of
these, but
those,
I'm gonna be gone.
Open holes that the double breach is gonna be bringing.
Oh, it's
on
for a while.
on upper deck, right? It's
Chat, I'm gonna
Ace
watch some of this.
and the thermite out there, making
Apparently
sure
there's a
they get
big
the
ass
ball
tournament
open.
with all the
So
tier 1 Brazil
and the
teams
defenders
and like a bunch of
interest, they're
Liga
really
start
gonna have
teams.
dedicated, opening up those breaches.
I'm not
And yeah, like we
surprised,
talked about, it
Thunders.
is pretty necessary because the rest
But
of this Fluffy Aimers comp is based around denial.
Realistically,
based
that's just
around
not gonna work.
holding
You
those
can't really force a
positions.
team to play in a
Now
tournament.
already, the Thatcher's gonna go out and
Like,
that
what are you gonna
hold
do?
of
Take away
the
their
bandits
spot
on the wall
in
isn't
BR6
really
if
going
they
to
don't
be
show up to their
able to help a
matches?
lot.
Like,
The impact is
I mean,
going to be
maybe,
as well
but-
as the breach is fully open for Upper Decky and a great start out of
I guess you could
40
withhold their
seconds in.
R6 share
They
money,
cleared out a lot of space, and they're already
but that
pressuring
feels like
for
it breaks some
extension
kind of
Fluffy Aimers
an
built for
agreement,
themselves.
unless this was already
We've got
predetermined.
the static warfare here of the Azami still holding on. So this Kiva Bear is going to be tough, right? You either bring along that
Melted isn't
bring
tier
along
1.
Flores, or bring along Cali to take that on from a little bit more of the long distance. Misses
Losing their
on the
IGL for
Selma
Kino
charge,
isn't an
so it
upgrade.
gonna
Kino is
remain
definitely
multiple, but
a
they've
better
got it
player
opened
than
up, Irish,
Foxe,
right? There's
but
plenty of
losing your
sidelines,
IGL is never
still
fun.
put some pressure on the back end,
That
and there's
said,
gonna be
he's
Kino
nasty
taking
with the
a rice
sniper rifle
for
apparently,
at a
so it's
heavy cost,
okay.
right down to that 8
He's
HP,
actually
but
crazy with it.
maintaining that or taking that body balance.
I remember him on X set on Bank. I don't I don't remember what international event that it was, but I remember seeing him on the Cali and thinking, that's a troll. What is he doing? And then have to get like 3
2
picks
Brazil
on
minors in
oh
the
my
summer.
God.
Top teams go to
Running
another
trades it out
minor
immediately.
in
Kino's able to find
the
one,
end of the
but
year to
hold
determine
on.
the best
Fluffy
Brazilian
Amers are
team.
fighting back.
Interesting.
Just like that takes us into a 3v1 as JJ gets
Fluffy
the
Amers
trip,
banned
goes
the
push
Monty
into sight, and it
against
just
Kino.
completely
They were
devolved
afraid.
as crosses were set up. Find a couple of triple kills, pushing into Logi, takes one from the back, but is going to be caught out as Nick's going to take frame off.
What are the odds to Herds to
Huge
NA?
round.
Okay, I'm gonna stop pulling shit up and covering the game, but for those who didn't see, I have made a huge move for North America. I made a tweet that if Canada wins the Copa America, which basically crowns like the champion of South American soccer, Herds had to play in the NAL for a year. Somehow, Canada has goofed their way into the semifinals, and Herds said yes. So,
I'm gonna go for it. We're man down. I am going to
any
kill
NAL
Kino.
teams
And I'm
who
gonna
want to
make
help
sure that he is
facilitate
able
this
to do
move,
anything.
please hit
The
me
rest
up.
of Fluffy Amers playing off of that call perfectly, because as soon as that first pick happened, the rest of Fluffy Amers aggressed Upper Decky and completely cleaned them out.
Beautiful.
I was really
Beautiful
hoping
play,
somebody
Mike.
in the replies would say
Oh,
something
now
along the
we
lines
gotta
of
take
like,
it back
Canada's
downstairs.
gonna get
Not
smoked by
willing to play
Argentina.
back CCTV just yet. It
Because
is
then
the-
I was gonna respond
I mean,
back
Clubhouse
asking
as
if
a whole,
Argentina
right,
even
we've
had
seen a
any
ton,
good
but
players.
SCCTV,
And when somebody
assault
inevitably
sites.
responded
Taken
back with
downstairs,
Messi,
a little bit more
I
comfortable
was
with
gonna
it, and they're
respond
gonna
back,
bring that
I
same
thought he was
sense
from
to the
Miami.
board. Slow them down. Force some of those engagements
But nobody
in the
took the
areas that
bait.
you wouldn't necessarily want to take them. The castle back out on the board, backed up with the Azami. Gonna see some of that dedicated hold. And then yet again,
Pamba
two
about
members
to
up
be
top, right?
finished.
We're still gonna extend up and force those engagements as Mute and Bandit now gonna be getting.
We have the extension from Fluffy Amers, but we have a complete rush setup out of Upper Decky. An opening pick for them as well means that they are going to have not even just an advantage.
You're confused about
position
LATAM because
choices,
don't Mexican
but
players
a-
also play for
a
NA? So,
strong advantage as far as
officially
man
in the
count.
rulebook,
They have
North
blitz,
America
they have everything
in Rainbow
set up to
Six
go
is
for a
defined
rush.
as
So
only
like we were talking
Canada and
about, the
Mexico,
aggressive 3-2-1
whereas
to
Hispanic
look out for
LATAM is
anytime.
defined as Mexico,
Right,
Argentina, Colombia, etc.,
Get taken
etc.,
off the
etc.
board
All
as they send
the
that first
Hispanic LATAM
drone
countries.
in, and they try to
However,
open up some of that verticality,
if
and
a
that's
Mexican
gonna be a tough
player
one, and it is gonna equalize on the man advantage
moves to
here.
the US
Open up that
or
hatch,
Canada, I
start to
guess,
put some of the
they can
pressure
play
in.
for an NAL team.
Easy as there,
Also,
holding onto the window angle, watching
for
the
Element
jump in.
3 only,
Could be taken there.
Mexican
So 2 minutes
teams,
on
Mexican
board, means we're gonna
players
get
are
a little bit of
allowed
a
to play
potential
in the North
reset
American
here,
tournament.
right? They gotta find
So
out
that's
where
just a rule
exactly the rest of
change.
these defenders are, and there it is. JJ taking Kino.
Kino,
off the
you're
board.
seriously
Huge
not beating the allegations,
as the
bro.
blitz goes
I
down,
try so
trying
hard
get
to
some
defend your
Grim
shield
Bees
play.
Inside of Church, they're holding on with the Kiva barrier. Dream off the board, and here is where that experience is, or that
For this tournament only, Mexican players are allowed to play at
Hold
Element
the
3.
angle. Now we find ourselves into a 4v2. Very tough situation.
Fucker.
Find ourselves now into a.
Is there ping
almost
issues from
3-up
Mexico?
lead.
Not really.
Now it's all up to Dexter. And
Mexico
BJ
to the US
Vance
servers is
fighting
not bad
back
ping.
against Fluffy Amers in a 2 versus 4 because the rush setup, the operators that they had setting up for this play just did not work. Kino pushing just a little bit further than what he could really
Axon, you
hold
replied?
for himself. The rest of Upper Decky following as well. Deity with the triple kill in the round, and now it's just Benji. A 1 versus 4, and I don't think he's going to be able to get anything towards this Fluffy
Okay,
Amers
you
one.
did,
It's
but you
just been
phrased it in
too
a way that
spectacular.
didn't line up well for me.
Absolutely right. It's taken down by Deity, and that is going to be a second for the defense.
You're right,
And
Axon.
because we're in that
I
pioneer
was
system
fishing for a more
with
aggressive
three,
reply,
the,
though.
The quarter system in place, we're going to get to see it switch
Credible!
up, so no real
What's up, bro?
momentum
Do I
to be
miss
had on one
TF2?
side of the board. I think
Are you the credible
hopefully,
from TF2?
you know, if we want this to stay competitive in this best
I
time,
assume
this is
so,
where we'll
right?
see Upper Decky at least take 2.
I do miss
and
TF2
maybe get us
in a
tied
lot of
up
ways.
3-3.
I mean, I like getting paid.
I was a little surprised that
Weren't you on
rush
like
setup looked kind of toothless. Instead of pushing the blitz
my
down
anime
dirt
list or
as
something?
quickly as possible,
Hold
you know,
on.
kind of pushing and popping the attack as soon as the barricade on dirt got destroyed, Kino just kind of sat there and assessed.
I think
where-
TF2 is a really
you
fun
know what?
game.
I think he was playing the blitz because
I think it's still the greatest game of all
he's gonna
time.
be playing it a lot like a Monty, setting up in a
But
position and playing behind a shield to be able to
Ultimately,
kind
I
of
like
get
the
info.
esports scene of Siege
But
way
that
better.
isn't really a way that you can use blitz. You kind of have to push with them because otherwise, you're giving up too many angles, and you're way too exposed with that tiny little shield in front of you.
Yeah.
Let me know
So,
what crafting
okay,
Twitter impressions
so
for you.
switch up, right?
See,
You
I'm
were
not
right,
on the
got a little
fucking
aggressive. So what do
Twitter
we do on
grinds
the-
like some
on
of
the
these
backside of it? We head down to the
motherfuckers
church
with the
arsenal,
check
one of the
mark.
comfortable sites, and they're going to get a lot.
I don't know if
slow
I'm
down.
gonna
It's
put
a
that
very
much
similar
effort in.
setup. However, we are going to see the new recruit on the board, bringing a lot of that util to the table, arcade and C4 as well. So look to see some of that verticality to be had.
TF2 is a fun game just because it's so, like, it just feels good to play mechanically.
Up top, we do
I don't know how to
have,
describe it.
Nobody is playing up on the 2F location.
Siege is
just
fun
really
because it's, like,
playing first
so
floor and already
you can do
starting
so
to
much
bunker
cool
almost
shit in
completely
Siege that
back
you can't
down.
do in any other
Castle
game.
left alone up.
And the info
But
game
TF2
for Fluffy
objectively
Aimers is
plays
just
so
good.
much,
A drone on
feels so
Kino,
much
and he
better to
has
play
absolutely
than
no idea. So the rest of Fluffy
Siege does.
Aimers know that he is really the only person holding these extensions. Know that at this point the rest of the players have dropped back towards site. If they set up this pinch and if they set up to clear out the castle, at this point their attack could just pinch him.
Oh, it starts to
No, we
a little
cut
bit of
Nightbot
pressure
out of the
on. You're
standings
seeing
'cause he
the
was
Ram
winning
drones
too
come
hard.
out, opening up that vertical floor, and here we go. They open up the castle barricade. The pincher move starting to happen.
That is
Once
such
on the side,
bad
he takes a
timing
bunch
from
of damage
Kino.
and does go
Oh,
down.
that's
Pinch
actually
successful.
horrendous
Now
timing from
puts us
Kino,
into
and
a
then that's
huge
horrendous
situation
aim
as
from
Rice is
Dexter.
gonna find Dexter
It's not that
off
bad,
board,
but
putting us into a
he aimed head level. He aimed head
5-3.
level. The guy came
Defense a
crouched.
little
But
bit on the back foot now. He's gonna try to hold on to that blue area and start to set up some of those crossfires from across the map. Be wary of that vertical now.
yeah, so Element 3,
Dexter
for those who
trying to
don't
play
know,
Kino
are
in
trying
for
a
his
brand
exit,
new
and
system
unfortunately,
where
it
every
doesn't work out
3
for
rounds
Kino,
they
and it
swap
works out
sides
even
instead of
worse
every
for
6
Dexter. He
rounds.
takes a
It's like
gunfight
a
towards the
trial
kitchen hallway,
run.
and it just does not work out. 2-man disadvantage for Upper Decky. But this is exactly what we saw.
Who are we
in the
rooting for
first
here,
round
chat?
of the
Who did
first
you guys
half for
predict would
Upper
win?
Decky. The one round that they ended up winning was a
Every
2-man
single
disadvantage
person
on this
basically
very
predicted
site.
Fox A's
Other
team to
side,
win.
on their
I'm here
attacking
for the
side,
upset.
But we know Upper Decky can fight their way back into this. We know that the individual.
I'm gonna root
skill
for the
of
fluffy
all of these
aimers here.
players can just
'Cause I like
win
chaos,
them around at any
and
point. And honestly, as
I
good as
like
it was
JJ
for Fluffy
Blast,
Aimers, it's not over yet.
and I like to see
True.
chat lose channel
Nope,
points.
start to send in some of that intel. The hatch drops. C4 comes out, but not.
And JJ Blast is gunning.
Takes
Takes down
off the board.
Dream,
Now
who I
taking this
also
all
like.
on his lonesome. It is going to be the Mira as
But
the
shut
plant
down.
starts to go down. And Deity to find the double to clean
Why
it
is
up.
Kino playing in Element 3? I couldn't fucking tell you. I guess he's subbing in for Fox.
The calculated aggression, unfortunately, wins out over the individual gun skill.
I
of
prefer
Upper Decky.
6-6.
I was really,
I think
really
6-6
hoping
is,
for just an
less confusing for the
absolute
viewers,
slobber towards site, both
and
teams throwing punches, but when it came down to it,
I don't think
Fluffy
3-3-3-3
Aimers
actually
tightened
solves any
up the
problems.
mistakes that they made in the first round, and at this point, they've put together 3 rounds successively on both halves. So,
Like, if you were going to
Upper
get
Decky really
smoked
need to stop this
6-0 on your
momentum for
first
Fluffy
half,
Aimers.
3-3 doesn't save you.
How do they do that?
Right? Like,
That's
maybe
the big
instead of going
question
down
is
6-0
how are
in
they
the
gonna
first
take
6
on
rounds,
that
you'll go down like
individual
6-2
aspect and
in the
force some of
first
those engagements
9
well,
rounds,
take it up
or
to
8
two,
rounds, or
right?
whatever.
And get yourself some
Um,
classic siege play, right? Go back to the roots, go back to what has worked in the past. So Castle and Mir are going to be utilized.
But, like,
really
end of the day, it's like a
facilitate
fake.
that extension into the cache
It's like a
and
fake.
CCTV area
The
for
game is
Zombie to
closer
hold
by the
on
final
to.
scoreline, but it's not actually
I think
closer,
this is a
right?
good setup,
It's
right?
just
This
longer.
I mean, it's standard. It's the
I don't think we need
default,
to be,
and
like,
it works
artificially
for
making
that
siege games
exact
longer.
reason. I'm gonna have to really try to play off the trade game here and get that early man advantage.
Maybe I
Thing
just hate
is,
change.
Brought along the Flores and the new Deimos operator who's gonna really try to isolate any of those players that are potentially on the roam. Oh,
3-6-3. I just don't know why we're trying to reinvent the wheel. I don't think 6-6 is that bad. I don't think 6-6 is really a problem.
Info off of spawn, obviously, for Fluffy
Like, it's
Aimers
true,
was
starting on the
just not
defense,
up
like,
to
feels
par.
really
A spawn
good.
peek for Upper Decky.
Because, like, the game, some maps, not all maps, but some maps are very defender-sided. But also, like, the meta is shifting to be less defender-sided than it used to be. Like, SI was very defender-sided, but now they've nerfed Fenrir, they've nerfed Solus, and Monty is, like, the fucking most powerful operator since OG Blackbeard. Like, it's insane.
so really,
So,
not
like,
gonna
defense isn't even that
be
good
a
anymore.
lot of potential here to do some.
I don't know, man.
isolating,
I just don't
because
think it
the buddy systems
is
in
a real
play,
problem.
Dexter there to help melt it
Also,
out,
if a
should
team
get
does
active
go down
onto the
6-0
breach.
and then they
Start sending in those
move to their own
repairs, taking
defensive
those
side,
castles
and they
down,
start a crazy
and get
comeback,
a couple of those crosses set up.
that's
A
hype
little
as
bit of
hell.
damage.
That happened
Yeah, a little bit of
twice
damage
in the
coming
SI
out
Grand
first base.
Finals. It happened
Shot
for
right
FaZe
now.
Clan
They're
on
able to
Skyscraper,
fall back
and it happened
into
for
the
W7M
construction
on
area,
Nighthaven, famously.
kind of hold
Both
on just a
teams
little bit longer.
got slammed on their attacking half and then made a
Upper Decky
crazy
aren't
comeback on the
over-aggressive.
defensive
They
half.
aren't getting up
That's
into the
only
faces of
possible because of
Fluffy
6-6.
Aimers because they
It's not
know that
only
with this
possible
man
because of, but like,
advantage, Fluffy
it only
Aimers needs to
happened because
push
of 6-6.
into them. With the scans of this Deimos, Upper Decky
People
are
act like
going
a
to
game
know
going
exactly what
6-0
Deimos
is, like,
as well.
immediately a
So,
bad thing.
the
I don't
info
think it
goes
is.
both ways. And unfortunately, for Fluffy Aimers, they aren't able to find a ton of space off of it.
Alright, my
aimers
aimers here, I'm not confident in this round. I won't lie to you. Because they have no EMPs. They can't get the wall open. Because there's Castle and a zombie on the board. They probably aren't going to be able to get the stop the bandit batteries from being tricked.
Towards Upper Decky.
Now, they don't need it because they have construction control. So they're going to push construction, they're going to push windows, and they're going to push Logi.
It's going to force Fluffy Aimers
But
in,
they don't have a
and
ton
that's,
of time to
course,
get it
where those
done. They have,
mistakes
I mean, they have a
can
minute.
happen. So a couple of shots from construction as they open up.
That's a gun.
into
That's a
Logi,
fight you
not
really
gonna
wanted to
find
win.
anything, however,
That's a pick you'd
it's
love
just
to
a
have back.
slow peel back towards sight, right? Each time the attack gets one more layer.
Melted is at
broken
Akiba's,
apart,
which is
they're gonna
nice, but
find
the
two
mirror window
more
is not
behind
going to
you.
get
So
destroyed
now
because your
getting into
Ash
the area
died.
where
So
they're
like,
gonna
nah,
have
this is
to
just
make
GG.
that decision and force that gunfight.
We
It's
need
still
somebody to just
2v1.
walk in and
They're
make a huge
pushing
play.
in on the Logi area. So
Unless
you have to
Deity
find
can do something
somebody,
crazy from like below.
who's going to be willing to take that peek. At this moment, Upper Decky not really
Meh.
giving any room, and that's going to be Ace taken off the board as Dexter going to still be having such a great game. A couple of flashes coming out as they're going to try to push
Deity
it.
cleans up Dream. I think he was playing down in the bottom floor.
And
The team walks in. Deity actually gets the second kill too. Somehow they turned this around. Okay. Okay. Dude, where does this come from? Deity gets a pick down below and then walks up main for 2 more kills. Crazy. Go back to 1-1-1-1-1. Absolutely not.
Of bringing the Deimos, but it's the gun skill from Deity.
Was I surprised by any of the teams that won closed qualifiers?
As well.
In Element 3? Not really. I didn't have any expectations for the Element 3 closed quals, to be honest.
A great spawn peak that otherwise would have been a great start into the round, and even towards the mid round, they were able to.
Element
like you said,
qualifiers
just
didn't really have
layer
any
after layer
great
on
teams,
this
if we're being
defense.
real.
But when it finally comes
Maybe
down
other than
to
like
it,
Upper Decky.
Deity and the rest of Fluffy Aimers in that 3-2-1 playing together, aggressive final push just works out. Deity running up main stairs seemed to absolutely kill everyone on Upper Deck.
Coastline sucks in all metas.
So 4-1, we sit. Fluffy Aimers just showing that they know how to play Clubhouse, right? This is their map currently.
Actually, you
And
can't save now. You got to get up to number
honestly,
1.
You're an Upper Decky fan, which who the heck isn't? I start to get a little worried. I know it's not the big, the big explosive difference just yet. We can still see that standard 4-2 half. But the gameplay has just been going on the side of, as you said it, communication.
Alright, the Aimers
been
are
there,
pulling
done
fucking
this kind
miracles
of,
out of their
gameplay that we're
asses to be
seeing.
up 4-1.
So back down to church. Run it back on the side of the defense.
Certifiably
We're gonna
fluffy
see
here.
the pretty similar lineup. The mirror being.
It is that kind of coordinated, like very strong, like team-oriented push for Fluffy Aimers. But if you look towards the score lines, it's also kind of just Deity going insane. The last round, he would just.
Do I
kind
like
of
the new
raid
observer
around
layout? No,
and
I think it's
fought back from a
horrible.
man disadvantage. In the first round, that's exactly.
Well,
what
you know
Melted
what?
did. He's
You know
sitting
what?
at
You know
5-4
what? You know what?
at
You
the
know
top
what?
of his team.
I will say,
So, it
I've
is
recently been
strong
watching
team
some
play,
VODs
but
from
the
Atlanta,
ball-
and it's actually
all of
really
the
annoying not
rounds
being able to
come
see
off
where
the
all the
back
players
of a
are.
single player
I
giving
actually
opening
really
for the
like
rest
being
of
able to
the
see
team
where
play
players
off.
are.
And right now, Deity's
But
just hitting his shots
the fact
a
that the
little
player
bit
names are at the
more
bottom
than
is
individual
inexcusably
players on Upper
stupid.
Deck.
You heard us say
And the fact that like
individual heroes, and
every
he said,
random
okay,
tier 2
big
tournament
bet.
and Brazilian
9-2,
tournament
you're right. He's absolutely going
like
nuclear.
refuses
That
to
is
play
gonna
with
be
the
one of
extended
key
HUD
conditions
and
here
refuses
for
to play with
Upper
KD up
Decky, is you're
24/7
gonna have to find and
is
kill Deity off
infuriating.
the board. And if you want to do it successfully, you got to get it done.
But I
early
think if
because
observers
you
aren't
rotate back
morons
down.
and
we're
they
seeing
switch the
two,
spots of like the names
oh
and
no, excuse me,
the
it's all bunkered down, right?
the
We're all the way
locations,
back down from
this
the
HUD is
defense,
like actually kind of good.
into the bottom area. So they're gonna kind of rely on the gun skill and holding the crosses and not so much focus on any of that extension. or
Upper
that,
Decky's playing with 2
individual
subs,
roam
yes.
game.
How do you play mini siege?
We'll
Just
start
type
to
in
see
chat.
the,
If you
cat
type
team
in chat
open up, get some of that vertical presence
during one
established.
round, then you're entered to play in the next
Pressure.
round. Obviously, only
I'm
10 people can
surprised
play,
to see
so
Blue Hatch soft with 2 reinforcements in the pocket.
you're not guaranteed a
I don't know
spot
if
in
it
the
was
next
a little
round.
bit of a miscommunication or an assumption that they would.
And then
use
as your
elsewhere, but-
player
or
plays
maybe
rounds,
kind of
they'll get
reinforcing
kills, they'll die,
after
they'll
the
get
fact,
plants.
after something's opened up and kind of closing off a rotate later. But either way,
What
I
is
think
this Mira
that
strat? I have
really
not paid
spells
attention
that
at all.
Upper Decky aren't really playing together. They have some
Oh,
sort of
from blue?
miscommunication, and as we get down to the last few dying seconds, communication is key.
That's right, 50 seconds left. Melted to find JJ off the board, and Rice to answer back, puts us into a 4-4. And Melted with the double kill, able to find Rice, takes us into a 3-3 as we also have Melted down in that exchange.
Pull back another man advantage. Pull back that man advantage. Yes, sir. 3 to 5 to a 3 to 2. Or 3 to 4 to a 3 to 2.
To a 3-2. Still plenty of time.
That's a
29
tough
seconds
death,
as the double
but
kill
it's
rings
traded.
out. Plant is
Dexter has
starting to go
literally
down.
locked himself
It's all
in.
gonna be on the shoulders of Azami, of Dexter, who's had the
Unlosable for upper
heroics
deckies.
round. Can he make it happen?
Unless this
here?
guy throws.
Find the shot.
Deity, I know you're 9 and 2, but please stop
That time,
egoing.
and he is gonna find it. The headshot rings out now into a 1v1. Can he locate? The shots through is gonna be rotating towards the area. And he's gonna get it! Dexter gonna come up huge.
You're not
Plenty
him.
of
Chill
time to
out,
get it off the
please.
board. Yowza, Irish.
That's tough. That is
It
tough.
doesn't matter if you can communicate. All that matters for Upper Decky is can you clutch out impossible
It's random,
rounds?
not the
And
first
for
10 or the last
Dexter,
10.
The answer is yes. That should not have been winnable.
Soft on
That
church.
should
Interesting.
absolutely not have been
That was a
winnable.
nasty shot from
He was
Dexter.
shot
You're right. That
from
was a
sight.
nasty shot from
Post-play,
Dexter.
1 versus
Dexter played
2.
it well. I'm
Was
just
that
I'm just
a 1
mad that
versus
fucking
3 behind
Deity wanted to
AKs
swing
before he
that.
got the first pick? No, he was a 1
This is
versus
a
2.
BO1.
Either way, though,
I should put that on the
post-play,
HUD.
and you're on the complete opposite side of where Plant is going down. There's no way in hell you should be able to win that round.
You're Dexter, right? Who's got the gun skill to do it. It's why they brought him up to join this caliber of team. He's got the clutch potential. We've seen it in several games so far, and now he's
BO1.
starting to live up to his namesake. 4-2. Yeah, honestly, the scoreline
Because
doesn't
this
seem
is
indicative
round
to
3
the-
of
to the
Swiss, and it's
gameplay
1-1.
that we've really
So
been
neither of these
watching.
teams are on the
But
cusp
here we
of
sit.
getting promoted or
Standard
getting
on the
eliminated.
half.
It's a lot.
It's been BO3s for so long you
less
forgot
even than
BO1s
I thought it
existed.
would be,
We
but
have seen a
it's
lot of
still kind of a lot of what we
BO3s with
expected
the
playing into
EWC
this
quals.
game. Fluffy aimers playing together, their executes have been really good, and when it comes down to kind of playing together, hitting a 3-2-1 and having all the players on the same page, that's exactly
Walkie
what they've
TV with a
been doing. And for
5-stream
Upper
streak.
Decky,
What's going on?
again, exactly what we talked about during the pre-show. They're winning these rounds.
Karn
off
up 3-2 on
individual
Cruelty?
heroics. Melted just
Mayhaps
running in,
NA Tier 2
Dexter
is
getting
better
a
than MXPL.
crazy 1 versus X retake on site. It's individual plays for Upper Decky and structured strategic teamwork for Fluffy aimers, and right now
We saw the last
that
match between SSG and
structure is
Sonics.
really paying off.
I mean, most people
So,
didn't see much
quarter
more than that.
We're back onto the other
There wasn't
side
a
of
lot
it.
to see with
Fluffy
EWC
Aimers
quals,
making a
unfortunately.
defensive run, and now they're going to show a bit of what we haven't seen. We're going to see Cash and CCTV as the primary side on
No,
the back
makers
end here,
are
back into the half.
currently 2 and
So,
1 in Swiss.
See that extension in to the garage area. This is one of the reasons that we see the Azami band out so often when we play Clubhouse, because
We're not
that hold is
switching
so
games
huge.
halfway
I think,
through.
though, one of the highlight picks here is going to be the dock being brought onto the board, right? These teams are just taking bits and
Aye,
pieces off each
CCTV
other in these
cash.
exchanges. The quick peek only amount to a shoulder shot. Bringing the dock, putting you back into a full stem and ready to go again.
I don't
think
like this
is
dock play, bro.
the adaptation that
A lot of
Fluffy
people have been
Aimers
running
needs to
Dock
finish it.
instead of Wamai,
That and
Up on
rotating
rafters.
the mirror onto main wall as well. Now we see it
and I
opened
just
up,
don't think
but
it's better.
the pressure means that they aren't able to have the thermite open up the wall, so it's going to be a vault breach.
Because you
which
can still get
isn't
flashed
as
and
much of
walked
a
at.
negative, but it does make kind of.
I guess
getting
if
in
you're
and
holding
getting
2
plant down a little bit
people
more
in
awkward.
rafters-
Crossing right in front of that dock, right in front of that operator that you were
Kino.
talking about. They're just teasing him. At
Kino
this
has no
point.
idea how lucky he is to be
And
alive.
watch him on the
But he's
cam
got a
every
drone in
single
there.
move.
Maybe
The
he's doing it
time
on
and the
purpose. Who
response.
knows?
So they're going to try to flush him out of there. Is one of the reasons. You see
I guess
the
with 2
Capitao
people in
brought
rafters
along,
is not as
right?
bad.
Get that
But the
fire
guy close
going,
on rafters is like a
and
little
force
bit
him
easier to
to
deal
either
with
drop
once you get
down
the plat wall
rotate
opened.
back into sight. So
Like,
seeing some of
Rival's
that
not in a
3-2-1
power
being
position
set
right
up here onto the garage area.
They just
And there
firebolt
it
out
is.
Rival.
That was the first
I
one.
say it
Fire
and it
takes him
happens.
down.
Firebolted
Healing
from the
a
can opener
Rival,
breach
that's gonna
from
give the body
Capitao.
balance over Upper Deck.
If you had a
I don't know if
fucking
he was
magnet
on
there, if you were
cam or
playing
something, but I
Wamai,
just
that shit doesn't
watched
happen.
his health tick down
I
and
don't
not
like this
move a
adaptation where all of a
single
sudden
inch.
teams want to bring the dock.
One of the things that I was going to talk
I think
about
it's
is
worse.
for Doc, you can withstand that fire, but its rival. on the Azami that's going to fall first, and the rest of Upper Decky are just putting all of their utility, putting all of their eggs in the basket that is
Swiss
Round
is the name of the format. It's hard to explain
Here's
without
one of the crazy parts, right? We still
taking
have
like
Malusi
10 minutes.
down below in the basement
But basically,
area, so could have the
the
play
gist of it
here
is
as
Makers
the
have
body
won
balance
2 games and they've
dwindles,
lost 1 game.
on the side of the defense. Puts us into a 4-3. Now look at that, already rotating.
And in
back
order
up
to
on
move on
backside,
to the
gonna
next
try
round, you need to win
potentially
3
make
games
play.
before you lose 3 games.
Defense is going to need
Wait, that
one
actually
to
wasn't hard to
equalize
explain
here.
at all.
The Raptors take for Upper Decky has just been absolutely spectacular. They're able to get the first pick onto Rival and double it up with Deity.
Great
Even if it's
Raptors
traded
clear.
up, they're
Honestly,
able to
really
get the
strong round
positions
from Kino.
Positions that they need. And at this point, they can very
I am a
easily
Doc
rotate
hater.
into that default plant position. This is just a very default standard take for Upper Decky, and all the pieces of this attack have been going their way.
Setting up for the rotate. The
Still
gas
2
canister
Toxic
does
Babes
come
and a
out,
C4 on
slowing
JJ
down
Blast.
that
If they
push
can
just
control
a little
bottom
bit, and
floor,
he's got 2
which
more
currently there's
enhanced,
nobody
so really good
on
position.
Upper Decky's
They're on the red
contesting.
stairs, start to push in.
But JJ Blast is pretty deep in sight.
Thatcher
Nick
charges
is
going
playing
out, and that's
below.
gonna be JJ to
but he's
take
out of
Dream off the
impacts.
board, and the smokes to come out.
What the
forcing
actual
engagement,
fuck is Nick
forcing
doing?
Kino to go up onto the doorway where the fire is going to stall him out, but he's going to find the kill onto JJ, start pushing over into the
Like,
top
besides
of red
baiting.
area, and Malusi is going to get taken
I don't know
down
why
in
the hell
exchange.
Nick is
Now
trying to play
all on
below
the
there.
shoulders of
If he
Bryce.
still had his
He's got the
impacts, fine.
capabilities to do so
But like
on the
imagine Nick was in
potential
sight
push through.
and
5
JJ
seconds
Blast
left,
was
they're
down
gonna go
below.
ahead and stick it.
Then JJ Blast can
Take
maybe
Bryce
get
off
that
the board.
C4 off. Obviously there was the long angle from
You were saying
Garage,
earlier that this site
which
has
is
been
still going to be a
lot less
problem.
played,
But
and that is
like,
exactly why.
what
It's
the fuck
just
was
such a
the
formulaic
Malusi
take
supposed to
for
do
Upper
there?
Decky, and it works out perfectly. That is the checklist that you see on this site. What do you do first? Open up manual.
I assume the
Okay,
name
check.
comes from
Got it open.
Switzerland.
Mira kind of made it a little bit more awkward and delayed it a little bit. That doesn't matter. Get it open very early. Fantastic. All of the players of Upper Decky then rotate towards
Doc is a good
Garage.
op, while Mai's
The
just
Garage
better in
clear
that
goes
position.
Perfectly. The
I don't
Capital
think
fires,
Doc
you
is a
get
good
the
op.
opening pick.
I think there
And the
are
second
bomb
from an
sites where Doc is
absolute
good.
swarm on the Doc holding rafters as well.
I think
means
usually
that
Doc is a
you're-
bad choice,
you're-
and I think in
you're
that spot, yeah,
only
well,
one
Mai is
man
better.
up because you lose a man in the process. But at that point, you have a man advantage. You have wall open. You have
Doc's not the
ability to push
worst
in default.
defender in the
Even
game.
with the smoke,
Doc is fine. Doc has his
Upper Decky make a
moments. He's
fantastic
not bad.
audible call of, hey, we can't get plant down right now. Let's just swarm. We have man
But, like,
advantage,
he's
we have
also
all the
not
space
great.
for the site.
He's
And
on the lower
at
end
that
for
point,
sure.
The round is over because you have one person left on red stairs, and that is it for Fluffy Aimers. The round count that we just previously saw kind
Doc
of
wishes
bang
he
away
was
from
Rook.
Upper
Rook
Decky
is
in the
so much
4-1
worse than Doc.
split, has now equalized out in a 4 versus
No, he does
3.
not.
In a 4-3, and Upper Decky at this point are only one round away from equalizing it out.
Switch it up a little bit as well, right? A little bit of an adaptation. We're going to see a real dedication to, as you said, open it up. Ace and Thermite being brought
In my
on, but
opinion, there
the
are
big one
4
here,
like
I
meme
think, and
operators
potentially
on
this is the
defense that you
pug
should
stack mentality,
realistically
right? This is the
never fucking
individual
bring.
rogues. Let's bring the
Those
Maverick
are
along. Try
Rook,
to find somebody on the rotate, get one of those
Thunderbird,
off kills on an off angle,
Tachanka,
and I think that is one of
and,
the right calls here, especially with all of this
who's that other dog shit
extension set
operator
up.
that
Catch
nobody
somebody
plays?
rotating
Caveira.
back to site, and of course able to deal with the hard pushes
And
or the
even,
breach dome.
and even beyond that, the Flores is the absolute perfect counter to these Azamis and these castles.
Tachanka
because
being
for
played
Fluffy
CEO
Aimers,
top
there's no
floor,
Mozzie,
I
there's no
will
heal,
I
there's
will
nothing
I will
to
accept
stop
that.
those. So at this point,
Tachanka,
you can get them
sorry, that's a
into
CEO. It's
the
consulate
absolute
top
perfect
floor is not the
positions to
worst thing in
clear
the
out
world.
bulletproof utility
I see
that
the vision
Fluffy
with
Aimers are putting on the board. So
Tachanka
just
consulate
the
top
entire
floor.
operator lineup for
But
Upper
if you're
Decky
running it, just know
is
that
the
most good
perfect
teams
counter
don't.
to what we see out of Fluffy Aimers.
And there we are. They start to open up that main breach area and start putting some pressure on. They've got the intel.
Thunderbird has a shield. There are so many other ops with shields. Bring Sentry if you really want a shield so bad. Don't bring Thunderbird, dude.
Send maybe a C4 up in that direction if he gets that sound cue,
Thunderbird's often
which-
more likely to heal your
that was quite
opponent
the sound cue. The rappel going up. Gonna take a look.
rather than healing
However,
yourself.
as you talked about,
Thunderbird's
drones
just
being
so worthless.
huge on both sides of the board. They're gonna need to get that intel. It's a minute and 31 left, and we still have seen almost no engagement.
But for Upper Decky, it really points to the fact that they've slowed things down, and they are actually playing together.
Depressed, you can
instead
do
of
what
just
you
going
want,
for
okay?
individual heroics.
But I'm gonna judge you
Upper
for
Decky
it.
have
Just
been
know that.
playing very well off of each other's utility. E-money, Benji.
Nice, bro. They're holding a lot of map control, but they're not getting caught off guard.
But as the pinch comes through, the
Remember when
first is
Deity
going
was
to die.
2 and 10?
Melton
Was
getting
10 and
taken off
2?
the board. Benji
Or was he
to
9 and
trade,
2?
And it's going to be an advantage for Fluffy.
He's 10 and
Aimers
5
as
right
the
now.
Push for Upper Decky just starts to
Okay, I really.
kind of
Okay, good.
fall the pieces.
Rival to take Dexter off the board, puts us into a 3v2, 53 seconds left on the board, and it's going to be the rotate, trying to find that kill as Flores takes a couple of pre-fires, just is
He's
game
wasting
sense,
so
knowing
much time right now.
exactly where the player
Rival
gonna
is
be.
dead. He's not getting
Skips
out of
across
this.
setup. Oh,
No
sends him
way.
back, but
No
the,
way. Oh my
Womaikas
god.
will stop that
And then he's got
flash
more magnets.
to keep him safe behind the desk there, and that is going to be some damage onto Flores as he
Dude,
gets
they're
reduced to
wasting
that
such
32
good time.
HP and still
Kino
just
can't hit a
holding
shot to
on.
save his
They're trying to
life,
send it in
bro.
from the backside
And they're on
here.
cams the whole
combo move,
time.
The team plays. They can pinch this guy behind it, and that's going to be
Dream
shot
literally
into
jumped in the window.
ankles,
He's like, Kino, what the fuck
equalized
are
at
you doing? His
2-2
feet are
now,
literally
with 20
exposed.
seconds left on
I
the
gotta
board.
do it
Bunch of
myself.
real estate taken, but it's gonna be
Kino's playing too
scenic
scared in
route,
that position, to be
rotating
honest.
all the way
He's gotta
down
get
and
in.
around.
What the hell happened to my quality? This
huge.
is not
9
1080p.
Seconds left.
There we go.
Pushing in.
This is
Looking
not
for
1080p.
that
Okay.
shot, gets behind in that default area, and the play starts
Twitch!
to go down. Thermite taking it to 50.
Where's
taking
my
it to
quality?
75. They're gonna find the kill, and JJ gonna come up on both of them.
They go for the slow utility play early on. And then at about a minute left, they just
Bro,
decide,
if
you
you're
know what,
playing
we're
a
just
serious
sending
game, I don't
people
know why
in.
the quality
3-2-1
looks so
push
bad.
for Upper
If you're
Decky.
playing a serious
Instead
game
of
and somebody
doing
says,
that,
hey, can
playing
we get a
together,
deployable shield,
that
and you
very
pick Thunderbird,
strong,
you might get dropped
team-centric
on the spot.
Utility push that we saw out of the early round, then just comes into individuals taking.
Let me look at my
gunfights, like
Manchester
we've seen
stats
time and
before
time
I give you
again
the
for
answer on
Upper
which
Decky.
attackers
I was just
are
in the
pretty
middle of a
garbage.
sentence praising them
I'm a
for
huge
playing
Osa
together,
hater. I
praising
don't
them
think
for
Osa is like
destroying bandits
Thunderbird
with the
levels of
Maverick
bad.
and then opening up
I
walls
do
to
have
be
to
able
be
pressure
realistic
towards
on that.
the site
There
on
are
Fluffy
like a
Aimers,
couple
but
sites where Osa
benefit of the doubt, when the
is
setup
okay.
is taking that much time to clear, maybe the audible call for
There are
Upper
plenty of
Decky
sites where
is,
Osa gets
okay,
brought and she's
this is
still
taking too much
terrible.
time. Let's just push. We can't.
But there are
win
a
off
few
of
where
gun
she's not the
skill.
worst.
Unfortunately, that was not the case this round, and Fluffy Aimers stop the streak that was starting.
I think
to
it's
build for
genuinely
Upper
just
Decky
Blackbeard.
and have gotten themselves.
I think
2
every
rounds
op
away from
other than
closing out.
Blackbeard on attack
Okay.
has at least like
So,
one
yeah,
moment
it is with
or at least like one site
everything
where they're
to
not
do
like the
here,
worst team in the
heading down
world.
to the church and
Why is
Arsenal,
video quality so bad?
and kind of back into that.
Is everybody dealing with this,
site
or is
we
this a
know
me
we can
problem?
win, right? And taking away that. That's going to be one of the huge parts. Mute going to be on the board, stopping some of that that opportunity
I'm
that
gonna
the
refresh.
drones are creating, and going to make it just a bit tougher. Yeah, I mean, this is what we've seen him been playing off, right? It is
Like,
that
this just
intel
is
game.
not
Take those swings
1080p.
that you know you've got
Twitch,
in the
you're
bag.
lying to me.
So I think it's a good adaptation, and with Fluffy and just 2 away, Church Arsenal.
Why does it
I
look
feel
so
like
bad?
Could be putting the pressure on Upper Decky in a pretty serious way because they've been so successful.
We saw a timeout for Upper Decky, but not really all that much changing in their operator lineup. We've seen Ash played round after round. We've seen Kino and also Dexter on the ace. That's very standard. Benji playing the secondary support operator, and Dream just sticking on that thermite. So as far as operator lineups, not all that much has changed for Upper Decky after the timeout, and that kind of worries me because the adaptation needs.
Would I
to come,
compete in
because,
R6
again,
if
you're
I
2
wasn't
rounds
an
away from
analyst?
losing.
No, bro, I'm
You're starting
dog
to
shit
kind of
this
let
game.
it slip a little bit.
I
against Fluffy
cannot shoot
Aimers.
straight.
Something needs to change.
Well, definitely changing on the defensive side. If we've only got one member actually sitting down in sight, right? We've seen the 2-person extension, right? We're holding 2 up top onto the 2F location, but it's not just that. We've got 2 on 2F and 2 on
I don't know what to do with
first
this
floor,
quality. No matter what
looking
I do,
to
it's not getting better.
potentially isolate.
I've
some
never
of
had
those
this on any
people
other
that are
channel.
going
I think it's a
hunt
them
down the
problem.
roam, right? To take those roamers out. And with the castle extension and the Exami Kiba barriers.
What's
to
my
do this,
rank?
This is a
I don't
great
enjoy
play, I think, in
ranked.
really letting
I have not
time be
played
the
ranked in,
ultimate
like, a
factor
year.
here against Upper Deck.
Probably more.
Not even just time. Fluffy Aimers are absolutely begging for a gunfight, begging for a C4, any kind of free.
How are
pick
you
they can
ranked
get
0
towards
in
Upper
Mini
Decky,
Siege? What?
Any sort of free fight that Upper Decky, time after time, have been giving them. For Fluffy Aimers, though, time hits a certain point, and one player drops back towards sight. and the
Spy.
rest of the roam is
I
still
think you're
staying
ranked
active, a
0
few shots going towards the
because
shoulder of Melted. And at this point, it's
Python
halfway
is
through the
calling a
round, and
position in a
finally Upper
list,
Decky are able to
and
break through the
your
turtle shell
and
of
Python
Fluffy
starts
Aimers,
lists at
and an
0.
opening pick goes towards
So
them.
realistically, you should
So
be
Mute
ranked number
rotating
1.
back down to the first.
I can
Some
actually
pressure
fix
on,
that right
To
now.
Kino, who's looking towards that hatch area. They're trying to catch somebody on that rotate that you were just talking about. That rotate back down to sight. But we
Rank
still have
equals this
we still
number
have a
plus
heavy roam
1.
game going, right? Still have 2 players that are up and active. And look at this, Mute coming around onto the red.
Okay.
Is gonna find it.
I just need to
Dexter
reset the
getting
bot.
taken off the board, and that's gonna equalize the body balance here as Ace gets taken down as well. The double kill ringing out, and just like that, man advantage heavily is gonna be put in favor of Fluffy Aimers, who are looking to put themselves
Try
on
it
a match
now.
point scenario.
Now you
The
shouldn't be ranked
triple,
1.
he's
And now you
on
shouldn't be
pace
ranked
for
0.
the Ace as they just take these guys out individually, and he has claimed the case.
They've ignored the roam before,
There we go.
and it has worked out on this basement take, but unfortunately at this point,
Chat, is anybody else
Rifle's
having the
just
same
too
quality
good
issues
with
as
it.
I am?
2 kills for him, and actually 3. You said he's on for the ace, and at 25 seconds left, he's still holding case. He's still staying active. He's still making sure that even if any
I think it
members
has
get
to be a
towards
production
site,
issue.
It's going to be Mute.
Got himself a 4. That roam game not to be denied. Irish
It's fine for you?
absolutely
Really?
dug his heels in, would not give up the space, and comes
Wait, did
up
it just get fixed?
huge for his team there. We'll talk about individual heroics. Well, he
You
just
like
did
the
some
quality,
right
it makes you
there.
nostalgic.
On a match
Wait, is
point
it not just
scenario.
fixed? It's fixed now. Bro, I don't know what I'm fucking doing.
This is very much not what I was expecting.
I don't know what's
Because
going on, but it's
up
fixed
against
now.
Upper Decky, these are all tier 1 players. These are all incredibly experienced, incredibly strong players in their own right.
It's going back and
And
forth.
Fluffy Aimers, you know, not to knock them, they do have absolute gunners on their squad.
It might be
Nick
the extension.
and Rice being a former
But the
tier
extension's
1
been
player
good for
as
like,
well.
I've been using the extension for like a
But
week and it's never
up against
happened.
Upper Decky, I was saying, I was thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe they don't.
I'll
quite
try
have enough
disabling the
firepower.
extension if
Maybe
it
they don't quite
happens again.
have enough to push it over the edge. Now we can say without a shadow of a doubt that they definitely do. Deity sitting on 10 and 6, almost getting an ace that last round. JJ Blast has been having an absolutely incredible few games. I distinctly remember it was during, I think it was during TP. It was either
God,
during
it's so
TPL
fucking
or
hot
it
in
was
this room.
during the first kind of few rounds.
It's
of
literally like
Element,
34
where he
degrees in my
individually has
apartment.
just been playing so well.
I'm
and
sweating
the
like
whole
crazy.
Team is just synergizing.
Synergizing, definitely the name of the game there. Communication on point, camaraderie on point, and they're showing. And it was Rival, yeah, that almost had the ace on the last one. We actually haven't seen much out of D.
No, it's
since
fixed
that
now. The
first
quality is back to
9 kills
1080.
that
I
he
don't
had,
know
where he
why
was
it was
sitting
like
9 and 2.
randomly
It's been
like
kind of,
360 for
a
a
little
while.
bit impactless towards the end of the round, while still that's where your team
Turn on a
factors come in,
fan.
right?
If I turn
he
on a
can't
fan,
get it
all
done,
you'll hear is
then we can expect Rival to go on
like
roam,
the whole
pick it
stream.
up, and that's exactly what happened.
So no, I'm
on
suffering
to the
for you.
defense
There was
here
a
for
fan
Upper
right
Decky as
there,
they are in
but that
their
shit is
last
off when
few
I'm live.
chances here to take the W, and that's going to be
JJ Blast
Bandit
puts the
Trick starting to
exothermic charge
stop
in the middle of
the
2
Thermark
walls.
charge. No, they brought the double break, so not all hope being lost on that one, but that was definitely a
They'll probably
good,
still get the wall
way to
open,
start
but this
the
is
round
shit
for the
that's like,
defense.
you learn not
Yeah,
to
how
do
you
that
stop
like
momentum?
50 hours into
One
Siege.
Thermite charge off the
JJ
board
Blast
and
has more than
time
50 hours in
just
Rainbow Six Siege.
absolutely
In fact,
coming
he is more than 500.
for all the momentum for Fluffy Aimers just comes to a head.
I don't know
at this
exactly how
breach,
many he
and at
has,
this
but it's at
point,
least 500,
Upper
I'll tell you
Decky
that.
are doing a fantastic job of delaying. Minute off the clock, and they've finally gotten breach open. But Deity,
I have
looking to
no
be that member
AC,
that
I
caused the
don't.
problem, looking to get back onto the board and looking to backstab the defensive positions of Upper Decky.
All right, so
He
couple
probably
shots
does have
to
closer to
bring down.
5,500.
Real damage done yet, except for Deimos getting taken off the board. The cross almost taking Dexter down, but instead he's gonna take Rival, and the trade's just starting to ring out. Puts us into a 4v2 almost immediately as the tack just
All right.
completely
How do Fluffy
falls
Aimers
apart
save
for
this round?
defense there.
2v4.
That was a huge round and exactly what
I think they
Upper
have
Deck
CC
needed,
wall open,
to
yes.
be able
They're gonna
to
go
stay in
construction
it.
side, I
minute
like that,
20
I like
left on the
that.
board. Gonna
Oh,
have
wait,
to
this
see
is a gym
bit of
hold.
a
Okay,
reset here,
reset.
coming out by the attack side. Still one Rotero in
There's
in
3
hand, but
defenders,
Thermite
dude,
charge
hit
is
sight.
on.
No, there's 3 players in gym.
Dexter is just
This is a, or sorry,
absolutely
in the
nasty.
CC
Put him
extension.
on the corner,
Hit
put
sight.
him on an island,
Yes,
and
this
he'll
is so winnable. They're doing it right
absolutely
here.
go crazy.
Bad timing.
Two
They get
kills
shot in the
for
back,
him,
both of them right now.
position. And Fluffy Aimers now just need to funnel into
Yeah,
the death
good play by
pit of
Kino.
Upper Decky. Kino
Oh,
with 2
poor
shuts
timing
out
from
the round for
Nick,
Fluffy
I think that
Aimers
was.
and closes
Poor timing.
their hopes of getting this game done early.
Match point still. Had to be perfect for 3. Able to find 1, bringing it that much closer. Which means we are going to go ahead and see 2F back into play. Cash Room, CCTV. Now let's see what they're going to bring to the table on as far as Upper Deck, right? It's going to be some slow down game for sure.
Yeah, Axon's hitting the nail on the head.
No Breach Denial going to be on the board. So really going to just kind of give away opening up those sidelines for free.
In Canada, at least where I live, you only need AC for like
little
1
fact.
week of the entire year, but
This
that
was the
1
site and
week
this was the map
is hell.
Where, Kino played his first tier 1 game and got an ace on the attacking side, but as a Thermite, he just absolutely
And we're in that week right
rinsed
now.
through the defensive hole.
But I got my hydration, so
So,
we're okay.
On this site, we know
Who's
he's
my
strong,
favorite
we know he's
Canadian
comfortable at every
player?
map, but there's a little bit of history towards this site and this map as well. For Upper Decky,
Of the two
rest of the
Canadian
team
players.
is incredibly strong as
At
well,
least
and
currently in the
hold
league.
is really interesting. Playing a mirror
I
towards
really
the
like
opposite
Spirits.
side and playing very aggressively on an open jacuzzi wall means that if Fluffy aimers go for an opposite side push, it's going to be hard. and
Spirits
they're
is
gonna
probably
be
my
pushing
favorite.
Into tough hell positions for Upper Decky.
Yeah, not if. When,
But, like, I like
right?
Troy, I like
Doubled up on the
Fox.
hard bridge, they're gonna open
I like 'em all.
everything up, and that, of course,
Spirits
is that
is French
mirror
Canadian,
away
but he's also
pretty
just like
quickly.
super funny,
But yeah,
super
you're
nice.
right. It's that pressure all the way on the backside, being able to get in
Major
the dodging
champion.
area as well. Kino on the red stairs, getting out some of that utility, some of that extension utility, and hey, let's get into it. 234. It's going to start to see the drones get in and poke.
All
and
right,
prod and start to
CCTV
look
Cash.
for
This
that
is the
weakness, right?
easiest
Look for
bomb
that
site to win
exploit
of the sites that, you know,
that
UD
Fluffy
are
Aimers
actually going
been
to play
so good
today.
about uncovering.
So Fluffy
And it's
Aimers,
even
this is going to be
easier
their best
uncover
shot
any
to
sort of
avoid
spaces,
overtime.
any sort of gaps in the
7-4
defense
is the
because
most
they
likely
finally brought
scoreline because
along
this
the
is
Dope
the
Beat.
easiest
Nick on
bomb
that
site
Dope
to
Beat
attack.
means that any of these roaming members are going to be
Here's
so
how they're
much
going to do
easier
it.
clear
They're
out,
going to
but
clear in
instead
through
of
Con.
clearing
They're
out,
not
they
going to
give
let
Dexter a
Dexter get
lot
the
of
opening
space.
pick. They drone him.
He's baiting,
Excellent.
trying
They're
to
going to
bait
get the
him into a
cut.
gunfight, and
He's going
unfortunately,
downstairs. They're
Kino
not going to get the
spots
cut, but
Dexter,
it's
and he isn't
okay
able to do anything
because
crazy,
he
anything wild,
is going to
anything
flank
aggressive,
way
and
later
that
in the
call
round,
goes
and he's
out
going to get
to
caught by the.
ensure
He's going to
that
be
if
flank
Dexter
washed
falls
and
back
killed.
towards any of the other members of Fluffy Aimers, they're going to know exactly where he is.
Right.
So they're going to probably
First
attack
minute is
this.
off the board, and they
They
have
could be attacking
definitely
this
located him there,
5v5.
Definitely getting a ton of space here. As that backside is just getting kind of left alone outside of, well, nobody. Yeah, they're nobody actually. Okay, so they have given
They
up
need
the
somebody
backside
on the
for free.
CC
So
breach.
put your man there. Start to put some pressure.
They
onto
opened the CC
construction
wall,
area
right?
From the Logi, and it's almost a full take here. So we have.
I think it's open. I think there's a Selma charge on
Looking
it.
to potentially come up on that flank.
Yeah,
Pressure
they're gonna
on it,
rotate
you know,
somebody
once
over to
the
the
push
CC
starts.
breach at some point.
Yeah, I was gonna say
They
that
don't need
opposite
somebody on
side
it this
was gonna
instant,
be a
but
little bit difficult to push,
before they
but
execute,
Fluffy
they need
Aimers,
somebody there.
They cut through the hold like
They
butter.
don't have smokes on
Mirror-
the thermite. They
mirror
got
forward
flashes, so
goes
they're gonna
down,
flood the site with
opposite side goes
flashbangs.
down, and now they have single wall open.
They're gonna
And
get
with
some
a
really
minute
good
left, they can
drones, so they're not
really
gonna get
start
caught
to
off
work
guard
this
by
space.
these wrap
'Cause
positions
they
like
have
the
a
one
lot of
Dream is
time to
playing.
set up for kills. They have a lot of time to set up for space, but
The idiot just
gas
took 80
canisters are gonna
damage to a
hit
toxic
Fluffy down
babe.
to
We're gonna forget
20
that
health.
happened because it's a
And
one-shot
with the
headshot
rest of
game.
the team kind of being stalled out
Just
on those
waiting
very
on
same
somebody
gas
to
canisters,
rotate.
It's gonna come down.
There it
to
is. Rice is
really
rotating.
one
Good. There's the drone. They
And you
found
can see
Dream's
Joker now
position.
approaching from
Good.
the backside to start to
The
put
Kiba's
that
a bit of a
pressure
problem,
on it.
but
Oh,
Dream
my
is
lord,
dead.
The trade brings out JJ to find Dream off the board, melted to answer.
They
as
stalled to
JJ
clear the
gets
Kiba.
ripped down.
Leave
Now
the
puts
Kiba
us into
destroyed
a
most
4-4,
likely
but
at
it's
this
a low
point.
health
Good
scenario.
timing.
The stage play
Bad
not
aim.
paying off just yet, and that's going to be Ash getting down as well. Puts us into a 4v3. 26 seconds left. So they got to hold on.
Okay,
to
they're really
it.
changing things
Kino
up. They're
on the board,
rotating back
equalizes
over
onto the
to
man
have
count,
everybody
and
construction
just like
side.
that, taking a ton of space, right? Really force them out. It's going to be Frost on the rotate from the lounge area. It's potentially going to have the play here. It finds one melted.
Plant down.
Finds one off
Rice
the board.
is,
Trent
Rice
does
has
go
to
down.
survive.
Nomad
Rice
quickly
can do
follow
this.
now,
It's a
all
super
on the
winnable
shoulders
1v2.
of
Rice!
To take shots towards the rotate.
Don't overextend. Play this
Exactly where
slow.
he's at now.
You've got an
It's a
easy
2v1
denial of plan. They have to
scenario. You're gonna have to pivot
push
for your
you.
life. But it's not gonna be the case.
Fuck.
Rice gonna get
Oh boy, oh
Setting
boy, oh
up for
boy.
late round,
All right.
Fluffy Aimers did a fantastic job of clearing through, taking space diligently, and setting up a 5 versus 5 push.
A Canadian
But when it
soccer
comes
player,
down to it,
Alfonso
Upper
Davies.
Decky are just better
Grew up
on
in
that
Edmonton.
site individually. The retake comes through, and it's an absolute. It's kind of a cluster. It's a mess. Nothing that's happening is really a consistent, clear.
Where's Foxay?
you know,
At an art
super
gallery.
checklist 1, 2, 3, 4 push. Okay, we take rafters like Upper Decky's attack on that very same site. It's a opposite side. Oh,
I couldn't
God,
name a
we have
second
40
Canadian soccer
seconds
player,
because
but
the
we got
smoke
one
has
guy.
been delaying us out. What do? Send everyone through. And for Upper Decky, they thrive in those scenarios because Dexter can just hit a 180. Kino can go crazy on site, and Melted can just absolutely clean up. For Upper Decky, when you put him in a corner, when you put him in a
Yeah, it's been rough
crazy,
from
hectic
Rice.
situation,
It's
they're
been
gonna
rough.
come out on top, and they only need to do that for one more round. to get us into overtime.
Canada has some
and to give
decent
them a
soccer
chance of
players.
winning this game.
Wouldn't
I can't
know.
believe we're looking at overtime right now, Irish. I can't even believe.
Do I like the
this is
Blue
such a
Jays?
fun
I've
game.
watched 0 Blue Jays games
So
in my
back
entire
down to
life.
the Church Arsenal area.
I don't even think
Load
I've
it
watched
up,
part of a
send it,
Jays game.
run it back. Just not willing to give up yet. We said they had to be perfect for 3, and they are 1 away from taking us outside of regulation. And now, I guess the question becomes, Irish, if you're Fluffy Aimers, I mean, you're doing the right stuff. What now becomes the win condition?
I think it's just
Pojo,
Foxy,
Foxic, Canadian Spirits, and Jarvis for the full Canadian Siege team.
Because
I really wish the World Cup happened, because the Canada roster would have been so fucking funny, bro. It would have been some great players, but they would have had to play on some insane roles, because the problem is, like, every Canadian player, like, is an IGL. Every Canadian player, like, plays similar roles.
Hectic 1-for-1-for-1-for-1
I remember back when they were talking about doing the World Cup, Quartz was pretty good. That's when Quartz was in the league. So Quartz probably would have made it on there.
Right? The defense has already bunkered completely back down to site.
Yeah, it would have been slim
no
pickings.
Extension, no roam game going on. They're really just going to trust on the fact that they're going to be able to, like you said, win those.
Who'd win a Siege World Cup
and hold
today?
The
certainly Brazil, right?
On the other side of the board is Fluffy Aimers, who have just been
unless Team USA could just enter as Beast Coast.
So it'd be a little bit tough.
If there's no restrictions of who could come from what teams, it would literally just be like probably Beast Coast versus W7M. I mean Furia in the finals.
The big thing, I think, taking that first engagement.
And honestly, Furia could still win that, depending on how much they cared.
Now some smoke's starting to come out. They're gonna start to put pressure on that.
Whoever's better on the day wins that. Like that's a close fucking game.
Of that critical push point, that drop zone area. Tons of vertical to be had already, though.
Penguin? Fuck, I forgot about Penguin.
Just very team-centric, like we've seen the entire game. They rotate all their members towards blue.
That dude's cool. That dude did a guest appearance on the NAL desk for a week. Factoring the face it days.
Another space though, because they can't drop into 2 Miras looking towards them. And at this point, the strong utility-centric choice of saying, you know what, I'm gonna call. We go for blue before the round happens. Maybe this late-round adaptation and switching on to somewhere different.
All right, let's just close this out. Not have to go to overtime, Aimers.
Seconds left. You haven't got
Aimers, let's not go to OT. Let's just close this one out. Toxic. Okay, we're in hell. We're in hell.
To find Kino off the board and
Twitch, we're buffering. We're winning.
Like that, Rival with the double.
Bro, what is happening?
3v1 with 20 seconds left on the board. And oh no, that's my feed.
Oh, the casters lost their feed too.
I think we could see where that round was going.
Did we? Did Dexter clutch a 1v3? We're back! He lost!
And, yep, Fluffy Aimers won.
Alright.
I was talking about them spreading out, but it was just a kind of...
it wasn't Twitch, it was production. 7-5! Fluffy Aimers! How did they win? Nobody knows.
In the early round to go for blue works out.
The Aimers believers, of which there was only one of you.
Fluffy Aimers close it out.
Congratulations, Kurizy.
That's right.
You're going to get a ton of channel points here.
Huge individual performances on both sides of it, but in the end, the teamwork just came out on top, right? The solidified roster who's done many tournaments together that proved they know.
All right, what's going on with this game? Karn 7-3 Team Cruelty? Okay, NA Tier 2 is so much better than MXPL. What the fuck? Chat, how the hell did Karn & Co. get 7-3 over Pyrox? What map were they playing? I bet they were playing Oregon. Those fuckers. Wikipedia doesn't know. Chat, what map they play? Club? Alright. Well, it looks like we got about 10 more minutes. Okay, 5 minutes until the next game starts. We're gonna do a poll right now while we got people in here. So, the next game, chat, this is an important vote, okay? We can either watch the best of 3, Wildcard versus Aerial Academy, winner goes on to the group stage, or we can watch Glowmoji's team against Team Sesh, who probably doesn't have any players you've ever heard of. Loser of that team gets, or loser of that game gets eliminated. So, really exciting matches going on. I know what I would pick, but hey, it's the people's choice. We can watch WildCard versus Aerial Arise, in which case that's the Poison Show once again. Or do we watch Glowmoji versus Sesh? I'll give you 2 minutes. Vote now. Participate in democracy. Yeah, BL isn't just Glowmoji. It's a bunch of villains for sure. BL is Kane, Tragic, Glowmoji, Tommy, and Zach Shreds. The only person I don't know there is Zach Shreds. Kurzy eating up on the channel points. Team Sesh, by the way, is TK, Space, Zera, Poker, Badger, Matumba. Wildcards you should know, but just in case you don't, Bosto, Kansan, Rampy, Spiker, Vertical, and Aerial Eyes, Poison Snake, Inrio, Brios, and Mike W. Isn't Glowmoji transphobic or something? Yes, Glowmoji has some of the worst takes known to man. This whole team is like full of terrible takes. This is like the Donald Trump of Siege teams. They are called blacklisted for a reason. Yes. Yeah, Matumbo is the hard support for cruelty. Give predictions for both series? I can't run 2 predictions at the same time. Get an esports World Cup ad? Have I ever cursed on air? No. I think once you're like in the zone of like being a broadcaster, it's pretty hard to slip. Like if you've never, like if you're like new to talking on camera, then like it's certainly possible, but once you've been doing it for a while, it's like pretty hard. I will say the worst I've ever done on broadcast. The worst I've ever done on broadcast. Wildcard versus Aerial Rise 1, so we'll watch that game next. I was casting DreamHack Montreal, and it was the biggest tournament I'd ever casted at the time. And I was actually casting. I wasn't on the desk. I was casting with Flynn. And I wanted to say something. I basically wanted to say, like, this team had, like, a weakness, right? And that, like, Team A found the weakness in Team B. And I wanted to say he found the chink in the armor. But I stalled at I like lost my words at a really unfortunate time, and I stalled for like 3 seconds before completing my sentence. Honest mistake. But like I don't think anybody caught it. Fabian doesn't slip, he swears on purpose. Yep. Passing is more difficult to play-by-play, not to slip. A little bit, but like I don't think so. Oh, my predictions? Wildcard are gonna slam Aerial Rise, and I mean I don't know any person on Team Sesh, but I'm gonna say that they win because fuck Blacklisted. Who knows? Now we have, thanks for the self-report. Listen, if I get canceled for a slip-up that happened 5 years ago, I had a good run. A lot of desk analysts do start as casters. Because here's the thing. I mean, the big thing is, like, back in the day, there were no desk analysts or desk hosts, right? Like, for the first probably 4 or 5 years of Siege's existence, it was just casters. Like, 2 casters would intro the game, they'd cast the game, they'd give it an outro, and that was done. Analysts were, like, reserved for, like, SI only, basically. Fluke preying on Blacklisted downfall. I promise you, Fluke has not thought of Blacklisted once in her life. This team is not that relevant. Quick Worldle to pass the time. That's Zambia. There were no majors back in the day. Currently. There were Pro League finals, but Pro League finals would typically just have like Matt Andrews running around the stage and then casters. Malawi. I'm gonna put on the HUD that we're waiting for the next game while we wait. Paris was the first major in 2018 and Raleigh in 2019. Yep. And those did both have analysts, I'm pretty sure. But really, we didn't start having perma analysts until Faceit took over. So after ESL, so basically at the start of COVID, they expanded all the broadcasts, and that included adding analysts. And so analysts got added for the first time, and I was a Challenger League caster at the time. But I was like, and you know, there were no real established analysts. So they were like, hey, Jesse, come be an analyst. Why did Blast start organizing the majors? So after the contract ran out, I'm kind of leaking, but not really. After the contract ran out between like Ubisoft and like ESL Faceit, they basically, you know, Ubisoft was free to work with whoever they wanted. And my understanding is that a couple different tournament organizers pitched to run R6 Esports. There were a couple different organizers that were kind of in the running for it. And end of the day, Ubisoft chose to go with Blast. Because, like, Ubisoft owns R6 Esports, right? And then they basically pay companies to run it for them. And previously, they were paying ESL. For the start of Siege's life, they paid ESL to do it. Then they started paying a couple different companies, but North America was being paid by Faceit to do it. Then ESL and Faceit merged, and then the contract ran out, and now they're paying Blast to do almost all of it. Initially, Blast was doing every region except for Japan, is my understanding. And now, I think Blast is doing Japan as well. And now, this year, Ubisoft is paying Blast, and Blast is paying Nerd Street to run the NAL, which is why the NAL is broadcasted out of the Nerd Street studios. Does anybody know the capital of Zambia? Because I don't. That's cool to know. Now you know. So in the ESL era, I was never brought on for Tier 1, but I did work for ESL, like when I did that DreamHack. I think I only ever worked for ESL when I did the DreamHack in the ESL era. And then when Faceit took over, I worked for Faceit for the 3 years that they were running the scene. And then when Faceit left, I got hired by Blast. Hired, I'm a contractor. Lusaka. Never in my life have I heard of Lusaka. I appreciate you, though. Flag of Zambia? I think it's this one. Fuck. What do they speak in Zambia? Maybe Portuguese? Maybe English? Maybe Zambanian? Nope. French? German? Alright. Population of Zambia? I don't have a fucking clue. Maybe 15 to 25? Pure luck. Damn. Size of Zambia, like 150K? I don't think it's 400. 750? 750? What the fuck? That's huge. All right.
We are going to see the flank.
Let's get back into it.
We're going to see that late round rotate, and Doke huge for that. So that's meaning Ying is going to be able to be utilized however much we see.
There are a ton of languages in Africa. I know none of them, so I always just hope that it's one of the colonizer languages.
With the Dokkaebi ban, unlike the last,
I was just hope and pray.
If you were watching the stream on the previous map, if you were watching Fluffy Aimers versus Upper Decky, we saw a Ying ban, so the kind of explosive pushes came down to gunfights, and for Wildcard, that's not what's going to happen at all, nor for Aerial Arise. When you're pushing into positions, when you're trying to clear tough-held corners, and on this map there's quite a few of them, it's going to be so much easier to just toss a Candela and run through and blitz through a defensive hold.
Okay.
So for Aerial Arise, we'll start to see the kind of
Chat, we're going to run a prediction. Most of you absolutely trolled the last one. You did horribly. So, try to predict better this time. Who wins map 1? Is it going to be WildCard, the pros, or is it going to be Aerial Arise, Poison, Goat? I give you 2 minutes. Good luck. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I am Poison's #1 fan, so we're going to be cheering on Poison the entire stream.
The range has went down on the gadget.
Not my fault. Kino didn't get his Monty. You saw the op bans before you picked. This is Aerial Arise's map pick. Aerial Arise's map pick.
Through where somebody is on their phone, the jump out available.
Yes, Kurzi is the only person who is excused from the slander. Kurzi, you're doing great. Everybody else in chat, pick up the slack, please.
Yeah, even after the nurse, I think
we didn't realize Kino was subbed in. Okay, I didn't realize. That's correct. But you have eyes. That shit was on the screen.
This site specifically, that corner that you see Rampy's drone kind of be floating over, those boxes, is a very default plant for the site, and it's really hard to stop with anything other than a smoke or anything other than vertical. So for Wildcard, they're choosing to go onto something that instead of tossing out a smoke and having it be burned and having 0 util,
Kurzi did vote
utility to be able to get a plant denial on the late round and also be able to play aggressively to stop drones.
For Aerial Arise.
I think that choice,
it's 94% to 6%. Kurzi's gonna eat the fucking points up again.
Taken above floors, right? Only one member. It's the castle down actually
Camhawk all in. Holy shit. All right.
But most of this gonna be done on that vertical because, like you said, that soft breach is just.
I believe in Aerial Arise. I'm rooting for him.
No damage yet on anybody, but they're starting.
Night Haven attacks never the most fun, especially with a zombie on the board.
Any of that potential gun.
They're starting in the basement, which is somewhat interesting.
Where exactly Mute is in that fending area? It rotates.
With a zombie up especially, I think top floor is probably the better site, but top floor will likely be second. That's unfortunate, Kiba. Old man Vert misses the Kiba barrier back in his day. They didn't have all these fancy gadgets.
5 HP towards, I think that was something else.
Still 3 roamers up and running around top floor. Rampy, Kansan, and Spiker all outside of the basement at the moment.
And still have full HP and still have all of your members. Just speaks
Senvale is subbing in, who's not playing then.
Layers of defensive hold that Wildcard have established. At this point, they still have a Solus running around towards mid floor. And they still have Spiker towards Mute, working a flank and working some kind of pressure towards these members of Aerial Arise that I don't even think they know about.
Yeah, so look at this. Doubling up as they're going to try to play off that refrag game, knowing that's going to be
all right,
huge.
absolutely zero intel from Aerial Arise. That's tactical, though. That's okay. All baiting for the 2K trade, okay? Okay, Brio's not looking the right way, but Poison ties it up. Yes, sir. Great little vertical pick from Poison.
We got 40 seconds left. So time's starting to tick away here for Aerial Arise.
Where are they planting here? They gotta go Exo, right? They don't have the main breach open, I think. Maybe they did.
But Spiker
They've used
isn't
one
budging.
exothermic
Just
somewhere,
a little
but
bit of a jiggle
it's a
towards the
little
hallway,
late
and
to
if
go
aerial
there
eyes
now.
aren't gonna push him,
It's actually
he isn't
definitely too
gonna
late to go
push
there.
what I was about to
They're gonna
say,
go
but
down
it seems like
cargo,
that's exactly
though?
what's happening. 20 seconds
Oh, no,
left.
they're
He
dropping
knows the
Animus.
push
All right,
has
they're
to
fine.
happen,
It's
and the
Animus
win
cargo,
condition is either take
and
towards sight or play a gunfight,
not catching
and Spiker is
Spiker
going to
on
take
the
it to
roam.
Poison.
Poison gets us
Triple kill
2.
for him in the round, and at this
Poison's
point,
fragging today.
he's all that's between him.
This guy's got really good aim.
Between his team and the round
Spiker!
one kill for him.
Go for the ace, you pussy!
He doesn't
You've still
need
got
his
Bird
ace.
alive!
All he needs is to waste the clock down to 0-0.
We'll give him-
and
we'll give him the
WildCard
ace
win
in
the
spirit.
first round. They just seem completely unbothered the
Good shit from
entire
Spiker.
time.
Really good round.
Oh my lord, that's a tough one, right?
I
the
hyped up-
thing is
I hyped
any
up Spiker
one
quite a
of
bit during
those
the NAL
players
this year,
can do
okay?
Exactly that. Spiker finding just a ton of success, stalling it out, and you talked about it.
Tragic
earlier
as
in the
Zach
round,
weren't paying
right?
attention.
We
Fair enough.
had almost a minute.
Coward
left,
and a
still
fool.
full
He had an extra
control
player
by the
alive.
defense, still a full health scenario. And
He
even
definitely
though
did the
trades
smart
were coming
thing
out,
there.
Even though we had some of those,
But he could have
individual
pushed for
plays,
the
it
ace.
just was not going to be.
Why am I a
enough
Poison fan?
when
I
the
just think he's
clock
really
was
good.
Starting to time down or take down.
For WildCard, the hold is just too strong. Layers on layers, an entire third floor roam for a basement site, and for WildCard, it's kind of just fitting that it comes down to time there, because in a hold like that,
Yeah,
they really
misdroning
didn't
Spiker
need to
there
push
is
aggro.
tough.
They
I
did
like
to
that
kind of
Aerial
delay
Eyes actually
time
banned
and
out the
only
Dokkaebi.
give
Spiker's a
Aerial
really
Eyes
good
the space
Dokkaebi
that they
player,
absolutely
but
wanted to
not
before
having
they
Dokkaebi
snapped
means that
jaw
clearing the
shut,
roam
Spiker
feels very, very
specifically.
bad.
And the
It's a
round
lot
comes
tougher
down
than it
to
otherwise
time
would
because
be.
again,
So
WildCard's hold is just that unbeatable.
you lay in the bed you made, I
So
suppose, if you're
dedicated to
Aerial
the 2F
Eyes.
now, as we're gonna see the secondary start to ring out.
Buck and
Little
Deimos,
bit,
they're going to want to take
I
below
was
here.
gonna
Not
say
a
little
single
bit of a
person
rope
on
down
WildCard's
below,
playing on the
because we
bottom
did have
floor.
Sentry down there, but
So they should be able to
opting
take
to
below
get
pretty
back
much
up
for
to the
free,
2F,
but you're
really
always a
just
little afraid of an
force
aqua
those
flank.
engagements. I mean,
You're
you
always a
have
little
the
afraid
upper
of
hand, you don't
someone
really
maybe
have
dropping
to
the hatch.
play so much into the flank, but it's prevalent and there just in case. So
Do I
bring
think
along
Poison
Maverick
could play
here
in
for the
Tier
attack.
1?
They're gonna start to open
I
up
reserve my right to
this,
stay silent.
main breach. Look at, he knew the C4 was coming. He got off it immediately. It's just game sense right there, Irish.
And it's 4 C4s out of WildCard already.
Chat,
one
if you were
burned
playing
out, but
Maverick in
honestly,
2024,
you have enough of
this
that
is how you
lethal
play
utility
Maverick.
to be able
You
to
draw
play
a
around
tiny
and
bit
do
of a
it.
line, wait for the
You
C4.
go for that, you know what?
Tiny bit of
If you
line,
still
wait for the
have it,
C4.
I'll got the
Tiny bit of the
confidence
line,
to
wait for the
free
C4.
pick without being able-
C4s
without
with the
having
new
to expose
trajectories
myself.
are insanely
So for
tough to
WildCard,
dodge. They
the
are
utility
very,
trade
very
is
good at
completely
killing
fine, and
Mavericks.
another C4 is already
So
ripped. They
Inrio
could
baits out the
honestly go
C4
this
really
entire
nicely.
round, just
Doesn't look like there's
C4,
another
wait
one coming
20
his
seconds,
way,
C4,
but
wait
still really
20
well played.
seconds, and throw another one.
C4 strat. I like it. Ooh, sends one out. Not going to find anything, however. We are going to see the Rotero drones start to get rid of some of that extension you built. Maybe try to dislodge that Warden who was holding on to the back stairs. Now, Mike W.
Rampy down. Let's go, Mike.
Rampy's head right off, and that is going to give the body balance tip in favor of the attackers, and that's exactly what you want to see. Right, Deimos down below is getting that
With the
that
buck,
intel. Talk about
he's looking for the
intel
Mira.
on
Azami could punish that.
He's huge.
Spiker
for
doesn't
that.
go for it,
Now,
though.
holding on to that top catwalk area. Azami
They're
is really
completely out of
set
Rotero
here.
drones on the Flores, and Spiker still has 2
That's
Kibas in his
also the
pocket.
utility of
They are
Rampy
not
playing
touching
below
rafters
off the
this
board.
round.
There was another C4 in his pocket, and instead of trying to play an aggressive C4,
It's good
off
for
the
Invert. I
window,
told you you're
he
always
was
afraid of
playing
the
very
aqua
passive
flank, and that's
kind of
exactly what
late
just
round
happened.
plant denial C4, so having him off the board.
They're going
clearing
rafters.
out
I don't know
the
that I
mid-floor
like this.
below
I feel like
side,
you kind of want to go
and
con
also
here.
being able to find the
Against the
opening so
Azami,
strong for
going
Aerial,
connector feels a
and
lot
although they
better.
lose one,
But
Snake
they're
finds
here, and
another
they're getting
battle
kills,
back and
admittedly.
maintains the body balance, maintains the man advantage. But oh my god, Bosco just
Boss goat!
just as I was
That was
talking about
nasty.
Aerial Arise being able to hold on to man advantage, it slips away from them, and Bosco,
Two in garage,
absolutely
Inrio,
incredible support player for
Inrio,
WildCard,
he didn't get
is
the
the
IT
player
wall
to do
open
it.
though.
With
Look at that.
35
Wait, did he?
seconds left, Aerial Arise need to
I don't think he
cobble together
did.
some
He's
sort
gonna
of
have to
an
jump in connector, and he's
That's
gonna
right,
get
bit of a
shit on
reset
by
here. C4 ready on the
Kansan.
drone hole. We've seen this be incredibly impactful and
They
potentially
do
the
seemingly
first
have
engagement
intel on
because they're
Kansan.
going to have to crouch down below this Kiba barrier. So timed right could be absolutely huge. He's primed, prepped, and ready.
The drone hole C4 is disgusting. They somehow beat Kansan. How the hell did Inrio beat Kansan? He must have jumped in the window and shot him in the face. Or maybe he let him swing. Inrio's going insane, though. Inrio with the pistol for style points. This guy's good. Nice.
Inrio at
Best
1
wild
HP
card
with a
player.
pistol. I
Ooh.
was thinking in my head,
Kansan probably,
there's
right?
no shot that you give the person who's like 0 HP the position of having to hold the plant. For
Give
Aerial
me a
Rise,
cool
though,
wild card
it works
stat.
out. The 3 versus 3, 35
Cool
seconds.
wild
What do
card
we
stat.
do?
I have
Paul
not thought about
comes
wildcard
through
competitively in
perfectly,
many
losing
months.
one to vertical,
But let
but
me
at that
pull up my
point, the rest of
spreadsheets and
Aerial
see what I
Rise are
can
just completely
find.
swarming through the rest of pillar position. Clear
Let me
through the
open
rest of site, and
my
as plant is going down,
NALCQ
Aerial Rise are
stage
able to cover even in the last
page.
few dying seconds, even at
I think it's
almost
actually
no
updated
HP
too.
and 0 bullets left in your primary. Aerial Rise scrapped together a answering round to Wildcard's first initial defense.
And that's huge, right, Irish? I mean, that is the
My
mental
wildcard page is
that
not up
gives
to
you
date.
The thought that you
Admittedly.
can do this, right? You can overwhelm, you can take those gunfights, and maybe,
Ooh,
maybe we
wait,
got
I have a
shot
stat for
here.
you
Now, I
that
know
is up
it's
to
just
date,
1-1,
I think.
right? And we're building it up a
Let's
little
triple
bit
check
here.
this is up to
But,
date.
I mean, that first round to take
Yes,
on
it
your
is.
side, that is the big one.
In
That's
the
the
North
one that
American
can get it
Last
out of the
Chance
way
qualifier,
and
every single time
last round
wildcard
before the
lost an
means
opening
we are
pick
gonna
on the
see,
attack, they lost the round.
the
They didn't
first
recover a
position,
single
which I
opening
like,
death
right?
on the
Switch it
attack
up.
in the North American
Playing that vertical,
LCQ.
which you're going to be playing anyways. Get that
Now, of course,
static
they played
warfare
one
is
game. That was a
in
BO3
place.
against
Hold on
Sonics,
to
and they
your
lost it.
2F. I mean, it's not the bad call.
But
again by
that's your stat.
Wildcard by any means.
This is also interesting because it's not really a kind of
1-0
typical ranked
Argentina.
rotation,
Yeah, we
very
just let them get
early
one to get
meta for
comfy.
this map.
That's when Canada
Usually,
strikes.
the
Canada
third site,
thrives in the
used to be
disadvantage, under
kitchen.
pressure.
Used to be something where, that was where people felt the most comfortable, but after
3 rounds? I
a
mean,
lot
there
of
was 2
teams
full maps that
discovered,
were played.
Oh my God, we
How many
take
attacks
vertical
did
and
they
this
run?
site
That is a
was
good
just
question.
Paper thin. I think Wildcard showing a different look out of a completely different site is fantastic. And already that site setup is paying dividends. A C4 through the
How many
floor.
attacking rounds? What's
And
the
the
sample
opening for
size
Wildcard.
on that?
Dividends
North
in a
American
huge way, Irish. They
LCQ.
took that
Wildcard
big part of that
played.
vertical off the board, reducing
They
it
played
to
quite a
half
few
of this.
attacks.
You said it. The game of C4.
They
so
played
they're gonna send
14
another
attacking
one out
rounds.
again as a quick
'Cause
peek
both
start
games
company.
went
They know
8-6.
that they've got somebody sitting over there. That's the flash to distract as they push in and take some of that vertical space into the connector area. The pressure on from
And they got
both
the attacking
directions.
opening
That
pick
was huge. That was almost another
most of the
C4
time.
take one off
They got the
board.
attacking opening pick, I think 8 out of 14
Impact
rounds.
EMP confirming the ace
Yes.
charges on pillar wall.
Wait,
Minute
sorry, yeah, so they
30,
got the
they've
opening
gotten the space
death,
that they need
5
to,
out of
but
14.
another down and another death for Aerial Arise means
6.
they might have the wall open.
So they had
might have
6
gotten one
attacking
more off the
opening
checklist, but
deaths, and
everything
they
else is
didn't recover
falling
any of
apart
them.
Vertical with one onto Inbrio, and it's 2 versus 4 to clear out the top floor of a site that they haven't even touched.
On a dime, that's not a bad stat.
Snake to find Spiker as the headshot rings out, puts us into a 4v2 situation. 60 seconds left on the board, but the double kill from Bosco ringing out. Now they know exactly where the last player is, where Ram's at as they push in, and that's going to be Kansan to clean it up. Body shot.
With this format, it's
Enough
easier to
gonna
play
head
maps
off
like this
Snake
in Sky on
there,
attack first.
finding another
Yeah.
round for the defense.
Almost
Again, I don't think it makes a
flawless on
huge
that wall.
difference in terms of who actually wins the round, but like if you're a very emotional team, it certainly can help.
Absolutely shutting it out. That's, I guess, how you hold that site. Just
Anytime
absolutely
extra.
bunker into top floor.
Anytime
Hold
regular
it like it's like
regular
you're
player,
playing
not a
second
moderator,
floor,
extra.
and play around C4s from below on what is now the site hold. For Wildcard, it's just gorgeous. You give one up to Aerial Arise,
What
but
NA
honestly,
team has the best
a 1-2
opening
split
kill
is just
round conversion?
absolutely standard. For Aerial Arise, there's a glimmer of hope because you've gotten that one round.
There
on
should
your
be a
attack, you've
database for
gotten
something like
to
this, so I don't have to
statistically
check every
pretty
time somebody
good
has a question.
balance. But at this point on your defense,
In
you need to close
NAL
out round
Stage
after
1,
round
the
because
best
otherwise
conversion
Wildcard's attacks
team,
are drilled.
this does
And
not
if you let it
include
get
the
away from
LCQ,
you, this is where
was-
Wildcard could shut the door on Aerial Arise.
I opened the wrong
So what
sheet.
do we
Give me
do
an
from
extra
there?
second.
You know, go up to the side that you feel comfortable with.
I cannot
so we're
open
gonna take it up to the
2
2F
sheets with the
location,
same
and then
name.
double
Excel.
up on keeping them out.
Let me free.
Huge play, and we're gonna bring 2 breaches
Stat
out.
book,
Make sure
open.
you're holding on to that back end. Make sure that
The
you're
best
holding on to
converting
that,
team in
to
NAL
the
Stage
IT
1 was
room,
Beast
and then
Coast, who
build
converted
up your
75%
defense
of their
with
opening
holding
picks.
on to the cap. This is a great play. Stop some of those cross sites from being set
Scared to
up,
get
put
married?
the pressure on,
Extra, I
try
looked
not
at,
to allow
we
them
looked
to
at
get
we
into
toured
the
a
building,
wedding venue for the
slow them
first
down,
time
and then
today.
You can take some of those engagements that you want. Ooh, what?
Nasty.
Rampy to find the first one.
Nasty. I wonder
An
if that was
opening
VOD
spot
review.
For Mike W just does not
Probably
work
not,
out
but
at
maybe.
all. Wildcard are drilled. They know the position.
We didn't like it though, so we need to tour some more.
Going to be peeking from.
Are you
And a start from
invited?
Wildcard on their attacking side.
Maybe I'll
looks
stream it.
So strong for them. Opening pick for Ramp. He does go down to 37, but at this point, the pick is far more important.
That's true. So back to the standard, bringing out the Maverick. It's this fun game of.
Let me fill up my water real
of
quick.
Cat and mouse here. The Maverick and the C4 play, able to find a little bit of damage onto the Grim, but not much. Well, no, actually quite a bit. This is reduced to that 37 HP. But Azami with a late round barricade gonna close off that area, adding another one of those layers that we talked about to the defense, and it's got some electrical on it. So really gonna have to put some dedication into getting that thing open.
But they have all the tools that they need. They have a Thatcher and they also have a Maverick. So even with one set of electrification, even if Aerial Rise choose to go for tricks, at this point Wildcard have everything that they need, and they're already
We're
starting
doing
to
a
open
pretty
up above
small
it.
wedding, only about 60
They don't
guests.
have grenades, but they do have B canisters, so I think they're trying to send it in above.
It helps
Oh,
that I
no!
don't really have
It's
a very
the
large family.
Sophia to be able to deny out the bandit tricks.
Mod extra
Fantastic
sign in
utility
hand.
play for Wildcard. The wall opens up, and at this point, Snake is all on an island because both entrances are completely open around him.
Yeah, but it's going to be poison potentially with the play here, right? Coming up those back CC stairs, going to try to put some pressure on, and if he can
Wait,
find
what the
one or
fuck?
potentially two, then that's going to not only
Oh.
equalize, find themselves in the body balance.
I
and then
actually do think it
that
overheated.
inch move that we're talking about.
Shit.
So, see if he's got the play, and that's
No,
gonna be
this
Rampy
happened
with
once
double now,
2
Boss
summers
with
ago.
alignment, DK onto vertical.
It deadass did
Unfortunately,
overheat.
Mira in the process.
Chat, I don't want to
Mira
ruin
goes
my
down
camera,
now
so I'm probably gonna
since
keep it
4v2.
off.
Warden got his special glasses on.
But
It's
we'll
gonna
keep
be
streaming,
Rampy with a
okay?
triple kill, and all gonna be put onto the shoulders of Poison, who is gonna find one, but it's gonna be traded out immediately.
Wildcard are just too drilled and too strong. This is
I
why
can
this
give you
is
the
a
other
tier
part of the
1
HUD back
team.
at least.
They have a setup. They have perfect setups, it seems like, for almost every single site, and their attacks are just so drilled. They know where the spawn peaks of Aerial Rise are going to come from. That's instantly swatted down. Mike W, don't go for that anymore. This is a tier 1 team. They're shut out immediately on the initial aggression, and just a clean clear through the middle of the map. They're setting up utility plays. I was talking about 2 operators.
A still image works?
Being able to deny the
Hold
bandit
on,
trick,
let me
that
see
we
what
were
I can
talking
do.
about, oh, they have
Let
the
me
Thatcher, they have the
see what I
Maverick.
can cook.
Obviously, those are going to make sure that the wall gets open. But I wasn't even thinking about the 3rd layer of utility of having vertical consistently on this Sophia of, hey, that is actually the perfect tool to stop bandit tricking. Wildcard know exactly what they're doing in the early round, in the mid round, and their late round.
I'll do a
runs
picture of a
after
time I
gorgeous.
was really hot.
Incredibly true. So the pressure's on now, right? This is a best of 3. This is fine. This isn't a sprint. But you definitely want to solidify some of your stuff here. So I like the adaptation coming out by Aerial Rise. They're going all intel, all the way across the board. Bring out the Maestro with the cams and shoot back. The Echo to help deny and disorient the plant. And
Shout
then
out to this
force
reply to my
low
tweet,
action.
by the way.
Steal the intel with the
When
Mira
I
and the
said if
Solis.
Canada
I mean,
wins
they're
Copa
really
America, Hurts
operating
played in the
off of,
NAL. This guy goes, "Are you
really just
dumb?
knowing
Do you know how
exactly
bad
what these
Canada
other
is?
teams
Do you know what
do,
Canada has
and
done
being
this
able to
year?
take the
They've
swings
done
a little bit
nothing.
more often.
Nothing. No, bro,
But
I
they also
don't
have
know
the
because
mute
I
to
don't
be
watch
able
your
to deny
dog ass
the
sport.
one operator on
Holy
Wildcard
shit.
that could possibly throw a wrench into that setup.
Anyways,
Full
I'm
roaming setup.
hunting. Give me a sec.
Deimos is just kind of a death knell for that, because if you're playing below as Pulse, it's a lot more difficult unless they have a mute jammer towards this basement floor.
Here it is.
If they do, then that's a lot more easy. It's a lot easier to just kind of run around completely unable to be spotted. But if Wildcard have the info, have the drones, and are able to use the Deimos effectively, then these roamers could really get caught off.
They're expecting some definite bottom floor presence there, huh? And there it is. Unfortunately, we saw the Maestro rotate down, but it just wasn't in time. As Pulse gets taken down, that some of the intel going to be gone off the board, but they still know the players
He
in
doesn't
here.
see.
Hold on.
He doesn't see.
Oh no, he's gonna find one. He's gonna find a W. Gonna find 2 as Mike W takes down Rampy and Kansan. That's
There you
gonna
are.
Put the man advantage in favor of the defense here.
Good
That
as
was
new.
the
That's
huge
me
play
sweating
they
my
needed.
ass
A huge
off right now.
dedication towards it. Now if he can rotate back up and give himself a little bit of the buddy system in play, this could start to work out really
Is that
well
actually
for Aerial
Justin?
Rise.
He could very well find a W for his team.
I don't think it was.
An initial pick for wildcard and a double kill out of him specifically, Mike W. That is, could very much be the win.
That one
for
is
his
not
team. Those
better.
Flashes come through. That utility play for wildcard is still so strong, and they're looking for the flank, but it doesn't actually work.
Could I
out. They
widen
know
it?
that
Yeah,
he's
hold on.
somewhere around the mid floor. They know that he's somewhere looking for a flank, but Snake finds one. Snake finds a second. That player is just running around, and now Bosco, all on his lonesome, still towards the basement, still looking for the clear. It's going to be Aerial Arise with a man advantage to just play cross, play a trade, and shut Bosco out of this round.
Okay, chat. Is this?
Exactly what they need to do. 37 seconds to hold on. As long as they're not
Is this
giving
better?
away that individual
I think that's
fight,
better.
because obviously it's
There, now there's no
possible
black
to take
bars.
this
That
on a
should be better.
1v1 type deal. Got the information, sends a flash out, looking towards the rotate back into sight, and we still have the cam, so plenty of information. They
Good,
know
okay, thank you.
exactly where he is at and where he's pushing into. So the rotate starts to happen.
Great
Here's the thing,
suggestion,
Irish.
Pill
They are
Cosby.
separated. 15 seconds though.
Excellent
It's
suggestion.
just
I
gonna be
appreciate
enough
that.
time here.
I guess I can turn my lights off, make it a little less hot in this fucking
But
room.
with 8 seconds left, gets off.
Hold on, Bosco about to lose.
Looking towards that rotate in.
Let's go,
They're gonna
Brio.
go ahead and find him. Brios to take down Bosco, and that's gonna give a round to the defense.
Two individual plays out of Aerial Arise won them that round. In the early round, we were talking about what a W play out of Mike W, getting a double kill, trading back
I'm sitting
out
in the
man
dark.
count and the man
Here we
advantage
go.
that Wildcard had gotten for themselves earlier. The push for Wildcard was very strong, and then just comes to a grinding halt in the basement when Maestro just walks down Exo stairs and gets a double. And towards the mid round, they set up, they took a step back.
Oh, I
took
just
a
realized
hold
this
on,
is one
calling
plants.
an
Fuck
audible.
it, you guys can
Let's
deal with
slow
that.
down. Let's clear out this Maestro. He can't get away from us. And as they're setting up the pinch, Snake pulls out a
One of the Canadians kicked one of the Argentinians in the nuts. What the fuck?
At that point, Bosco is all by
Let's go.
himself, and Aerial Arise with a man advantage, with a 2 versus 1, and with Bosco still towards the basement.
Dude, streaming without a
That's
cam
just
is actually
that's
chill
just
as
a win
fuck.
for them.
Oh my
Two
god.
individual players making 2 individual double kills means that the advantage for Wildcard that looked very daunting is starting to get equalized.
Indeed, it's 3-2.
You saw a dead guy pick up the
We're one away
diffuser?
from
Really?
getting tied up now,
Dude,
on the-
why can't I not
right before
replicate
the
this
half.
bug in
This is
testing? That's so
definitely
annoying.
a lot closer than kind of what I was actually thinking, and that's no shade to anybody. Both of these teams are great, but
All
we're
right.
talking about the
I've
difference
hardly
between,
watched this game
you
at
know,
all,
a tier
chat.
2
We've
and
been
an NAL team.
dealing with a lot of
So,
shit,
see,
okay?
this
We
last
had the
round here,
camera,
first half,
we
Wildcard
had
bringing out
basically
the same. Gonna get some of that
I forget
intel.
what else we
Amos
did,
still
but I
gonna
was
be
reading a
out
lot of
and
chat,
about
okay?
to
So we
hunt
gotta
down
focus up on this
potentially,
game.
That warden who
Bill
is sitting
Cosby
down in
put
that
you
first
down.
floor area.
That guy,
Poison
fragging in the
was
mini siege,
trying to be the flank man
got
on
some
the
great
last
ideas.
make
Not
play.
only did his
Could
cam
potentially be
suggestion
it,
beat
as
out
long as he
yours,
doesn't
but he
get
beat you in
sussed
mini
out
siege
early.
too.
But it seems like he is going to be. The info game for Wildcard
Do I go to
is
business
just
meetings for
really
esports
good at the
events?
moment.
So
They know
no.
exactly where all these
However,
players are, and they
at
know to
majors
be
and
expecting
SI, like when we
aggression
go
out
to
of Aerial
LAN,
Arise.
there are
Do
often
they
like
could clear
meetings
this
that take
corner,
place
though?
during those.
Snake has shot a
There
few
are also
rounds towards the
sometimes like
mid-floor, and
meetings
otherwise
online
it
that
could
I'll
be
do with like
assumed that he
Ubisoft
would
or
drop
Blast.
back, but if he goes
Um,
unchecked, if he goes unnoticed,
I've never
it
traveled
could
anywhere
really
specifically
fall
for a meeting.
victim
But
to his
I've done.
position.
It's actually pretty common to have like a
It's true.
Zoom
See
call
scores on the
meeting,
board and potentially
like
try to
before an
deny
NAL
that
stage,
potential
or
for
before
that,
a major,
vertical
or
play. And they start to open up the back end,
like as like a
get those
performance
crosses
review.
set up. A lot of what this first minute has been
And then
designed
sometimes
for,
there will
right,
be
is
like
that
direct
intel
meetings
game
during
leading
events. That's usually for
so
more
much
like
amount.
serious stuff.
holding on to the corner. This could be the huge one. You talked about it. Snake being prevalent, finding that double on the last round. Individual heroes going to look to get active again. Looks like they're kind of leaving it alone for a second, right? As to try to kind of reestablish some of that.
Aerial Rise
more
desperately
towards the
need this
front
round. Again,
of the
3-3 is
site.
like hella important on the current format.
Presence. Jeez.
Yeah, at this point,
They got a
haven't
zombie
found
up
any
to
space. They
hold down
haven't found any
rafters.
holes on
They
Aerial
got
Rise.
Kaid for the walls. I
No-
mean, this is a
nobody's
strong
gone for
op
spot
setup
peek,
for sure.
nobody's given Wildcard
I'm a little
anything, so
surprised
at
they
this
didn't
point, with
rock a
minute
Mira.
left,
Mira's
they
really
are
good on the
kind-
site, but
kind of trying to rotate
I guess they
around
want to
and
hold this
find that
horizontally.
space,
They're worried
find
about the
that
Buck
gap in the
Deimos down
defense.
below. They didn't think the Mirrors
And
would
as
stay up
they're able to
anyways,
open
which
up
is
to the
whatever.
wall, the gap might be widening just a little bit towards this default push.
That is
Jeez,
unfortunate.
huge shot Hansen to take Brios off the board, and that was a big one, right? That was the rest of those Kiva barriers not.
IT
there
wall
weren't
is
any
surely
able to
open,
be
right? They probably
utilized
naved
here.
it.
So body balance is tipped in favor.
I
of the
didn't. I wasn't
attacking
paying
team, but
attention. I was reading
it's
chat,
starting
but I
to wind
assume.
down time-wise. Rampy to find Snake off. The
We
board.
need a
That
play
was big
here.
on
We
the
need a
boys'
play
side.
here in
Find
Rio.
vertical. Another TK on the side of
Doable.
WildCard.
1v2.
It's gonna take
Winnable
us
1v2.
into
They don't
2-1
have.
as
They do have
TK
defuse
is
kit.
also down
Defuse kit is
30
in
seconds
IT though.
left on the board, and this is all
They
gonna
can go
be up
plant on the
to
hard
Rio,
wall is the problem.
sitting at that
And he's being
4-4
Demos
area,
tracked.
take on this 1v2.
Yeah.
I don't
Without a
think
C4, I don't,
they changed it,
and the
back up,
Demos
so
track, I don't
they
know that this is winnable.
exactly where he's at.
Bosco needs to plant
They
exactly
got
where
him
Rampy
pegged
is.
out.
Are they gonna double
Be
swing
the-
this guy?
the-
All right, that works too,
the
I guess.
The double
That works
peak,
too, I
they're gonna
guess.
find it.
781st.
For Inrio in that positioning, a 1 versus 2 against against SI winning players, you're just not going to win that. They're just going to win time and time again. And he pointed it out during the round, but it is a little bit strange to see 2 TKs out of a tier 1 team. And especially out of players of this caliber when everything else has looked really drilled. Their defensive holes have been, oh wow, this is a site we don't really see all that often. This is a really good hold. It works out really well. Oh wow, their attacks and utility play have been just that much better. Why are they killing you?
793 out of 796. That's impressive, to be honest.
Right? It's that the big A word we talk about all the time. They're just wanting to get in, click heads, get that KD up, and yeah, sometimes they swing at the same time. Little bit tougher, you find the homie instead, but able to really just do an incredible job, right? It's WildCard saying this is the TED Talk on how to do Night Haven Labs, and so they take it 4-2 on the half.
But you know, going over towards the side of Aerial Rise, then being able to put up 2
I like the
rounds against
ranking
WildCard on this
because
map
now it's like
is
obvious who
no
you're going
small
against. The
feat.
ranking I feel has
Again,
added a
we
lot.
keep
It's
talking
obvious
about
who
it,
you're
but
fighting against. It's also
it
like
bears
obvious
repeating.
when you're
This is a
doing the
tier
worst,
1 team. These
which
are
was hard to
invite
tell
winning
before this.
players. This is a major winning coach, and this team as a
This game is
whole,
chalk.
as a
Wildcard looked
core,
too
has been
good.
together
No,
for a
it's
really
4-2.
long time as well.
It's 4-2. I
So
mean,
being able to
Wildcard
put
definitely
up
looked
numbers,
better.
being able to get anything done
Aerial
against
Rise
this
are not going to
team,
win this series
just
if
give
we're being
yourself a
real
pat
with
on the back
ourselves.
for every single round,
But they
because
can pull this game
this
back.
is a juggernaut in Element, or at least in this phase of Element, because there are more tier 1 teams to come.
So, what is the adaptation? What is going to be the win condition for Aerial Rise? Right? They've done a great job at being present in the gunfight. We've seen the doubles ring out. We've seen the buddy system in play. Now,
You got 80 MMR rollback the other day, in case you're wondering how bad the cheaters
right?
are.
They're allowing WildCard to
I mean, at
kind of
least it feels
dictate
kind of
the
good,
pace,
right? At
opening
least you
up
log
these
in and you're like,
sidelines,
woo,
forcing
free rank up.
players into engagements not necessarily ready for. So I think if we see something a little more pace structured out of Aerial Rise, could be a little bit more competitive. They're only
It
down
doesn't
2
feel
rounds,
good.
right?
It
So
hurts.
This
Well,
is still a
I'm trying to be
comeback
positive.
situation, even though one of the toughest tests they're going to have, like all.
The thing about this, though, is
Fluffy
sitting at
Aimers
4
won their
rounds,
game
WildCard
earlier
actually
today.
do have the opportunity to just win all of their defenses and
7-5.
close out this game. That is a very distinct possibility because this map is very
Over.
defensive sided. That is something that could very well happen. It's a possibility, and again,
Over upper
could
deckies.
be
Upper
something
deckies
that
were playing with
WildCard
2
could
subs
just
though,
run away with it
so
after we
take
get
that
to
with
halftime.
what you want.
I don't want it to happen. I want to see rounds going back and forth, but WildCard is insane. These guys are crazy, and at this point, they can.
You're confused how Canada made it to semis? Because
Okay,
soccer's
here
a
we go.
goofy
Back
fucking game,
into
bro.
it, the first half of the
Soccer is a
first
goofy
map,
fucking
done
game
data.
where,
Sayonara,
like,
see you later. Gonna take us back down to the tank. This is
literally,
very
Canada
intense.
has
It's gonna
scored
be
prior to
much
getting to the
same,
semis
right?
2
See that
goals
extension with
since the
castle
tournament
being
started,
brought out.
and they're
We're
in
gonna see
semis.
that individual roam game. It's
Like,
gonna
when
see that
every
bringing
game
out
ends in
souls
either a
and-
0-0 or a
and
1-1
pulling
tie,
all of that
any team
intel,
can win.
determining where the pace is going to be coming from. Aerial Rise on the other side of it, going to double down on the hard breach, right? Really try to open some of that, some of those sight lines up, and of course dedicate for the vertical. I don't know if one person.
What do I think is the
taking
biggest
on the roam
weakness
game,
on
though, is gonna
Aerial?
be enough.
I would be shocked if just one person on.
I think it's just
clearing
lack
through
of
these
like
rumbers
skill
was
by the
able to
players,
do
to be
anything.
totally
For
honest with you.
Aerial
Like, I think
Rise,
1-to-1
it's
Aerial
gonna
Rise
come
just
down
like
to
don't
can
really
you
match up to
actually push
WildCard.
together on this third floor clear because WildCard are doing the same thing. They're playing the Solus towards mid floor. They're playing the castle to be able to create sight lines and block off the.
The issue with
default
soccer
take
is they'll
of
never
Aerial
make the game more
Rise.
interesting.
So
I
for
agree,
them,
man. Like,
you need to play together. You need to play trades. And your
soccer, I
info
think,
game needs to
fundamentally
just
isn't
be
a boring
that
game,
much
you
better.
know? It's basically the
Otherwise,
same as
WildCard are
hockey.
going
It's the
to do
same
exact
idea.
same thing and just
But the
win
rules
this
and the
site
format
out
are just so
cleanly like
sleeper.
they did on the first round.
Oh, look at that.
Nasty shot from
Unfortunate.
Kansan.
Kansan to find Brios
Like,
off
this is the
board.
shit that the
Almost
players on
finds the
WildCard will do
second
that, like,
on
you
the
just
wall
won't see
bang
most players on
through
Aerial
the
Rise
window.
do as
Not gonna
often,
be
you
the
know?
case, however, and allow
Does
them to
Fnatic still have an
rotate
R6
out
team?
from
No.
another area. That was huge. Opening up that soft
I had to
push,
think
put
for a
that
minute.
pressure on, and just
But I'm pretty sure they
snap.
do not.
Special teams, special goggles, special players. Kansan is 6-4 right now, and the rest of his team is incredibly even behind him. There's no standout players because every player on WildCard
Oh, yes, they
is
do.
just absolutely hitting right now.
I forgot they joined the EUL.
Just a
God,
few
this
shots
team is
going
bad.
astray, and for Aerial Arise, that's been the name of the game. They've
I was
tried to
thinking if
trade,
they had still
they've
had their
tried to have
Japanese team, I was
cutoffs
like,
after
no,
the
they're
aggression
definitely
from
not in Japan.
WildCard,
That means they
but
don't
they're
have a
just
team.
few feet
Completely
off,
forgot
and
they joined the
Kansan
EUL.
just keeps up the aggression and takes down
Dude,
Snake
Kansan
Armor
is
as
crazy.
well.
We talked about Solus being just so vital for Nighthaven, one of the best players for the defense here, and proving it right now. Just getting the intel, capitalizing, and then just absolutely crushing it. So they find themselves with the body balance tipped heavily in their favor, and the time starting to ring down. Zofia now almost with a wall bang to try to
Dude,
equalize on
this
the
is
numbers.
definitely on
Not
production
gonna be the
side.
case.
It's
We
not
already
on
see
me.
Ace get used to that.
Because
Third
production
phase
already, like,
HP.
went down halfway through the server.
them pushing
The quality
back
sucks,
down
guys,
towards
but I don't
seven.
think there's
It's
anything I can
almost
do.
a
I think it's
full-
literally on
no, it is. It's a
the
full
side of the
bunker
stream.
back down now. Ton of work to be had here out of Aerial Rise as they start to open it up.
It's a round of almost for Aerial Arise. They've almost been able to have the cutoff on almost every single player. And they are almost able to find some sort of a hold towards sight, but with 40 seconds left, time ticking
Aerial
down.
Rise might be
3
done.
versus 5, you need to find some space.
You gotta
need to
push this
together.
3v5.
And
You
like
have
said,
no
make any
smokes.
sort of a difference against this bunker.
You do have 3 flashes,
Good way to start it. Inrio going to take Spiker off the board as the flash.
but you have no way to get this plant down Animus. I don't think you control cargo, do you?
Oh no.
Oh, Inrio's going cargo. Inrio goes cargo, he kills vertical, they start the plant, and then Inrio and Mike go crazy with the cover. Never mind, Mike feeds, Inrio feeds, my bad.
Now all going to be put on the shoulders of nobody as Kansan gonna
Still better
come.
production than Esports World Cup? Honestly, yes.
That's once again a textbook hold for WildCard.
Soccer
on
should
that
allow
site.
more
It
change-ups.
seems
It would
like
allow the game to be
their
played at a
hold
faster
is
pace.
just holding
100%
third
agree.
floor, playing for time.
100%
playing
agree.
aggressively towards the
I think they're
midfield
literally
for
trying to fix
kills,
the
and then
production
just
right now.
Dropping back to site once they have the man advantage. It worked out on the first quarter, and it works out for them here again. Now we do have a little bit of a tech pause where we can kind of unpack that round and unpack the whole.
The thing is like,
as it stands,
North American sports, because they're
TeamSpeak,
controlled by
I
like
guess
one
one of
big
the teams
body.
isn't
I don't know.
quite
North American
working, so
sports
a little bit
leagues
of
are just
communication
like
issues might be able to explain
more willing to experiment with like different formats and different rule sets, and like for some reason
to dictate how the round is going to be played out.
FIFA have
And
never
they
done that.
started
FIFA have never wanted
putting
to.
that
And I think it's
vertical
probably just
pressure,
comes down to the fact that like
towards Kansan,
soccer
but-
has a longer
but for
history and a
one,
longer
Kansan's
tradition
just an incredible runner, finds the
in
kill
the world
immediately, but
than
there
any
it
American
was
sport
linear.
does.
There was no
But
secondary
it's to their
option
detriment.
once they sussed out that he was sitting in the kitchen. So instead of taking this gunfight
All right,
on
Exaya.
2v1 and putting the pace and the man advantage,
It's
in
not
the set,
soccer, it's
he
football.
loses
Okay,
it out
hear
and
me
allows
out,
Kansan
hear me
to
out.
earn the double,
I-
which,
I agree.
at that time,
Football is a
really
better
just
name
spelled
for
disaster
for the
defense.
sport than
5-2
soccer is.
now,
However,
specifically
here's
based
what
on
fucking
that
when the
early round
Americans
engagement.
took the name
The
football
thing is, they were
and
really
used it for their
trying to
sport,
hold the
they
cutoffs
were
instead of
smart
pushing
enough
1-for-1. They
to
were really trying to play together.
give
Like we
the
were
sport
talking
they
about,
just
the
stole
very,
from a
very,
new
very
name.
first pick onto
They
a
gave
core
it the
from
name
Kansan.
soccer.
They're working the verticals
Europeans
as well as
need
having
to
a
come
player
up with a new
outside
name
defending
for American
window
football.
trying to hold the
Because one
cutoff
sport
and
being
make
called
sure that,
football and
okay,
one
we're gonna
sport
take this
being called
advantage
American
vertical
football is too
gunfight
confusing.
against the Solus.
It's annoying. It's
And
bad.
then
It's
worst
stupid.
comes to worst, she's gonna fall back directly into our gun.
If I say the word
into our
football,
line
people
of
get
sight.
confused.
But it just barely goes astray, and that entire round is just Aerial Arise.
So,
Barely
if the
not
Europeans want to
quite
call the
able to
ball kicking
find
game
anything.
football, I'm
Kansan's
okay
able
with
to
that,
run
but you
around,
need to come
and
up
the
with a better
cutoffs
name
are
than
just
American
slightly
football for the
too
sport
far
that gets
away.
played in the NFL.
Yeah, really reactive instead of proactive, right? So it's you're responding to the situation, and that is just always gonna make it a
American
little bit
rugby.
tougher if you put onto the back foot like that. So
Maybe.
same thing. They
Carry
still
ball?
we
I'm
still
happy
need
to call
see
it
that
carry ball.
same, that same.
I'm happy
win
to call it
condition
carry
to be
ball
met
if
here. Love to
that
see
gets
something
widely
like
adopted.
or not a Capitao.
Tossy,
I'd love
throwy,
to see
kicky,
more
also a
of
good
the
name.
dedication
Also a good
towards,
name.
Sussing out that roam game, right? Really put the pressure on. Take it 3v1 if you have to, but you have to find that opening kill. Personally, I think
Is
you
Canada
got to
still
find that
down 1-0?
opening kill and then get yourself a reset and then go for that exit.
Canada
Also, we
versus
haven't really seen a lot
Argentina.
of the Ying. During the pre-show, we were kind of talking about
1-0.
you ban out the Dokkaebi.
It's 45
That is a
minutes
strong
plus
power
2.
operator. That
The
is a very
clock rule is
kind of
also
good
stupid.
pick going through the ban phase,
The fact
but
that the clock
that
just
leaves
never
Ying
stops
on the
is
board,
very
and for
goofy.
neither of these teams have we seen Ying
Will I get banned if I
effectively
watch the
utilized
highlight?
or used at all. So I think for Aerial Arise,
Okay, we
again,
don't have to.
You're on this attacking split. You have 3
The game
rounds
is
to
back,
get
we don't have to.
one. And I think not using the Ying might be a little bit of a mistake here.
I guess if it is available,
Highlight no, live stream yes. So I won't get banned for watching the highlight. Okay. If there's another crazy tech pause, we'll go watch the Argentina goal highlight then.
And we're set up for Warden has been played an incredible amount of time. So maybe yes, and there it is. Look at that. Brio's bringing out the Ying. They heard us. They heard us Irish, and they're like,
who's the
yes,
newest
sir.
tier
We're
1
gonna
R6
send in some
esports team? Does it
Candelas.
still
We're
bleed?
gonna cause some
No, I
disruption.
mean, it depends
We're
what you
gonna try to
consider
find
tier
ourselves
1,
that
right?
opening pick.
Like,
I like that. This is perfect. Brio's
orgs
my guy.
internationally
The person
change
we've been
around
talking
a
about this
lot.
entire game. He's 2-6, but
If we're taking the
he picked up
broadest
the Ying.
definition of tier
You gotta love
1,
him. You gotta love it when the players seem like they hear you, and I guess with the team speak issues, they might be able to hear very.
Let me go
very,
look. Hold on.
very well.
I'm gonna try to get you a real answer to that question.
Okay, adaptation though does come out, right? Yes, the Ying is great, definitely caused some of that disruption, but we're gonna see instead of the Solus, the Fenrir being brought out by WildCard. I love the Fenrir, even after the nerf, right? Even after him being nerfed into the ground, still just an incredibly viable player because you have to be able to see to take those shots. So if it's a you can't see, I can't see situation, it might still favor out.
I mean,
WildCard.
Cloud9 coming back is
Sure.
probably the
And
biggest.
it's also
It's
even
probably the
more
most recent
info to
thing.
be able to play
It's not
these
really a new
C4s
team
off of. Rampy
joining
playing
Rainbow
all the
Six,
way in the
but they're
basement.
rejoining.
And seeing that, oh, Aerial Arise aren't taking first floor. They aren't trying to take the vertical like they played in last round. Seems like to directly counter out Brio's normal.
Yeah, I think
operator
Cloud9
of
is
the
probably
which
the
he's
correct
choosing
answer
to
here.
which he's chosen to not pick onto. So during the mid round, Rampy can just kind of move towards the mid floor, take up the space that Aerial Arise are.
Just
leaving
stop
up
the
for
clock?
grabs,
Like what?
and
That's what I'm
potentially
saying, bro.
have a C4 below to be able to play off the Fenrirs and to be able to play off of his own utility as well.
Starting to try to get rid of some of that extension util, trying to dislodge some of those players with the Rotero drones. None left on the board as they've gotten basically all that they can.
Did
do
they
now.
return just for
Somebody else
EWC
doesn't
or for
have any
longer?
more
I believe they
players, so
returned
there's
for
gonna be no
longer.
more of those
It's not
late
just
round,
EWC.
uh,
And they didn't
areas
qualify to
that
EWC
the-
anyways,
the
so.
attack team doesn't know about, right? Everything is set now with the intel that they have. So we can start opening up some of those sight lines. We're still at a minute left in the game, so plenty of time for the action to devolve.
Yeah, with 55 seconds left, there's still some time for Aerial Arise to try to find some pick, but it's WildCard. They're not going to give you anything. They're not going to go for a spawn peek. They're not going to do anything dumb. They're not going to do anything aggressive.
Did the tech
If they
timeout
make a
help
decision,
Aerial
it
Arise?
is
I'm gonna
going
say
to be
probably
something that is
not.
either going to get them an advantage or be very little risk. And showing such a little risk, Bosco falls back to his shield, maintains his positioning, and as time continues to tick down, it's like 25 seconds left, and Aerial Arise have a few walls open, sure, but it's a 5 versus 5, and they need to start executing.
There's the Candelas start to go down, but Spiker to take Brios down. Snake on the answer takes us into
Bro,
a
we're
4-4
staring at
to
a shield and then
4-3.
getting flanked
They're able to also
anyways.
take down Mike
It
W,
feels
who's
cooked.
still sitting down
Where's
below
the util
on that
clear?
first
What did they
floor.
use
Fenrir
their
to go off.
their
It is gonna
4
be the
Flores
C4 to
drones
answer
on?
Vertical to find poison, and now
This team just feels like they like, I don't know. They just have no wind in their
ringing
sails.
out, bringing some death.
They're not able to use any of their utility effectively. They're not able to like really get going on these
And right now
executes. They're not able to clear
sitting
util.
at map point
Enemy
against
util, that
Aerial
is.
Arise. And they have one more round of defense. On this defensively favored side, they are going to need to go to control, but as we've seen before, this isn't like a tertiary site where it's like, oh shoot, we don't have a setup. I didn't even expect to get here. They're
I just think
drilled.
the soccer
they have their
rules for the
setup. They
timer
know
are
what
really
to play off.
stupid
They know what to play
because it
around.
just
They know
feels so easy
exactly
to
what they're
game.
doing on
Like,
every single
you literally
site
can
on
just
this map.
like it's a
So
strategy to
even
just
if it
waste
gets
time.
down to their third choice, it doesn't really
Like, I think
matter
that's
for Aerial
stupid.
Arise. Taking a
Now they
timeout
take a
at
tack
that point is
timeout.
usually frowned upon, but
After they
this
just
could
had
be
essentially a
Ariel
free
Rice's
tack timeout
last
from the
time to
tech
take
pause too.
That's true. And you know, we see the timeout buff, as we like to call it, 75 to 80% of the time.
I
You
have
can
no
see,
opinion on
you know,
cricket. I've
person
never
takes the
watched a
timeout,
single second of
find the
cricket in my
round win
life.
afterwards. Give you a second to talk about it. Problem is, wild card on the other side. So you're right. We're going to see the first floor where they had a decisive win the last time we played it, and it is going to be a dedication to slowing you down. The Malusi
They
and
waste time
Legion,
and there's added
it's
time. Okay, but why
asynchronous,
wouldn't you
right?
just
They're
stall
dictating
in the
pace
added
and game.
time? Like, let's say it's a
Even if
1-1
it
game.
gets down to the late round,
You
the
go into
border
added
being
time.
consistently picked onto
I guess there's
means
no
that even
benefit.
if
No, let's say it's a
Ariel Rice had
1-0
chosen to
game.
go into a
You
game,
go into
which
added
they haven't
time.
this round,
If you're the
but
team up
say for the
1-0,
benefit of the
wouldn't you
doubt
just
that
stall as
one,
long as
say,
possible?
Brios picks onto it, that's
What's my
going to be
opinion on lacrosse?
completely
Never
moot,
watched a single
as
second of my
Bosco
life.
in the very late round can just absolutely take every single flash hit possible. The setup for wildcard, instead of playing around
They
4
track
C4s,
time loss
is
in
gonna be
added
slightly
time.
different. Like
I
you
just
were
don't
talking
believe that
about,
that's like
it's
more
based on
accurate than stopping the
traps,
clock,
more
and
based
also
on bulletproof
they're not
cameras,
constantly adding time.
but the setup
You can't, or you're gonna be sent
philosophy
off.
seems a
But
lot
like,
the same
where's
with
the
this
line?
very
You can
vertical
definitely do it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. There's the fun one though, Bandit bringing out.
Like,
the
it comes
shotgun.
down to
I'm
like
here
the
for that.
judgment of the
I mean,
ref,
there's
whether you're
plenty
actually
of
wasting
close-quarter
time or not.
combat to be had
I don't know.
here, and
It
that
just
is
feels
definitely a shotgun that can
very.
get it done. A little
It feels like a
unusual.
very like
Still fun. Double up on the
1500s
bridge.
way
Hey,
of doing
they
it.
did.
Like,
Mike W
we
gonna
have
bring out the
technology,
game this
we should
time,
use
so
it.
Still trying to bring that adaptation, bring that innovation with the Candelas.
Everyone in high
The
school
thing
that played
was,
lacrosse
they
was the
didn't
biggest
even
stuck-up
need one
shitheads.
the last
That's
time
so
when
true.
the Ying went down, right? They were able to find
The
the kill
only
even
kid that cared
amidst
about
the,
lacrosse in my
Candelas.
high
So,
school was the
a little
kid
bit
who
more
was
cheeky,
whose dad was a
way to play this
millionaire who owned
I
6
like the discipline that
McDonald's.
we see out
That's
of
not a
Wildcard.
joke.
The barricade opening up in
There was
front of
one
Kansas
kid in my
and
high school who
kind
played
of
lacrosse,
every
and his
single
dad
voice
owned
in
6
his head
McDonald's.
screaming,
And he was the
"Jump out the
richest
window,
kid in
jump
my
out the
school.
window, you can find an opening. Jump out the window. All you need to do is jump out." And the discipline
Time wasting is a
stays
real
inside
strat.
the
Thank
building.
you from the
45
Europeans.
seconds left. Aerial Rise haven't found an opening, haven't found a gunfight, but that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to storm through the building. Kansan finds a trade back onto
You're not
straight.
European, but
At this point, 3-2-1 push comes through, and the hold for wildcard on the top floor is
From the
actually
soccer
looking
fan.
a lot more flawed than the first time around.
Yeah, so some action on the windows here as they're still putting that pressure on the 2F area, although only going to be Bandit and Malusi now, as we're going to see Legion, Bosco, and Kansan rotate back down to side to start to put some of that bunker capabilities in, but they have got equalized on the man count here. It is 4-4, and both have a low health scenario in a full minute and 35.
you know soccer better than I know
Favor
R6.
wild card as well. I mean, it's favored.
I just
wild
don't
cards
believe
sit
that's
up in
true.
the scoreline. All they got to do is hold on and wait. But if Aerial Rise can find themselves just one, potentially start seeing themselves set up for an execute, which we just haven't even seen. Maybe that's the play. Protect the president. Andela's ringing out. Top of the stairs. Not going to find anything. They're going to.
Well, Jesse is dumb. All right.
Okay, the flashes go out, and Aerial Rise have finally taken top floor. They've done a very good job of being able to trade out, taking the opening pick, and another
Mike!
3 picks from Mike W.
All right.
What?
Unfortunately, that was a huge
triple
troll
play
by
just
Wildcard
absolutely
throwing
falls
3
apart,
people
and
up the aqua
Wildcard,
stairs in a
the
line
match point
against a
opportunity
fucking
back to just close out on your
Ying
defense.
LMG,
Now seems
but
completely impossible. Kansan, the player we talked
they're
about
they're
having
actually
from
just
the
setting
very
up
beginning,
Kansan to make the
keeping yourself alive.
craziest play of the
Very
night.
smart decision, 'cause you are
They
still
actually
the
just
last
never
alive
mind.
on your team.
They are
I was
gonna
coping a little
find
bit
it
too hard for that one,
huge.
perhaps.
It's been said if Mike W shows up, he can win.
He did
rounds,
hold
and that's
mouse one.
exactly what he did. He heard you say that he needed the Ying. He threw down some Candelas and then just cleaned up. What a freaking trip!
The push for Aerial Rise was a little bit weird. Instead of having a strong kind of slow utility push that we've seen out of Wildcard, actually slow is a bad word because that's kind of a negative connotation, a very diligent push.
Can we
for
get a
Aerial
bottom
Rise,
leaderboard?
They've chosen to go on to go for something completely
That
different
is
for that
pretty
last
doable.
attack. Instead of playing slow, utility clear,
But
make
probably
sure they
not.
aren't bandit tricking, get the wall open, take the space, go for an execute, and everything is checklist. They throw a few Yings in, send Brios in, take the space, and then the rest of the team,
200
and
kills?
Mike
What was the
W
record from
specifically
last
on
season?
That Ying
I think
just
it's pinned,
absolutely
right?
cleans out his wild card,
In
go for
the
a
Discord mini
triple
siege?
flank up blue.
I didn't pin it. Fuck, I gotta go all the way back up there to
So-
find it.
It's just huge. That was just absolutely huge. Now 3 away from tying up the score line. WildCard just, of course, needs 1. Gonna have to do it on the attack side.
Rhea ended last season with
and that was
plus
Siege for Air
48.
Race.
So that
What
is
did
the
they do?
goal if you want to be the greatest
They set
mini
the
Siege
pace,
player of all
right?
time.
Was it early? Was it aggressive? Was it fast and contentious? Yes, absolutely. And what did that do?
Now
It
it's pinned.
threw off WildCard. It threw off their momentum, put a stick in the spokes, if you will, and then allowed the triple flank to just be
Do a mid-game
completely
prediction
sought
and
out
predict Canada and predict
dominated on.
Argentina.
That was a huge round.
I
Great
officially
adaptation by
predict
Aerial
that
Rise.
Argentina
Now, can they
shall
do it on the
defeat
defense?
Canada
This is the defensive side of map. They got a little
in the
bit of
World,
momentum
not
in their
World Cup,
favor now.
Copa America
do some work.
semifinals.
You
Are they in
usually I'd
halftime right
say
now?
For most teams, I'd say.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. It's Lair, you're on your attack.
Good call, Creamsicle. Good call.
Yes, you're at,
That'll do it.
you know, match point. But at this point, you need to cobble together an attack on what is otherwise a
Extra.
very
What is this?
defensive-sided
What did
map.
you just do?
But the thing is, we've seen WildCard
What is that?
win time after time on their attacks. They are strong. And
Interesting.
even as they lose the opening,
I think I
the
need to turn
vertical,
that off.
The trades are absolutely perfect. Rio's
Are we
to take
winning
down a
here?
second,
Holy shit, they are.
and WildCard need to prove me
Up
right.
4-3?
Otherwise, Aerial Arise
Wait, on the
kinda
defense?
look like
Wait,
they're
doable?
getting away
Chat,
with
winnable?
here.
Let's see it. Oh my lord.
Kansan's
there's
fucking
Kansan to find
nasty, bro.
second on the round, equalizing the
I
man
mean,
count.
Brios maybe
Now, it
shouldn't be
is at
holding
a
that hard,
cost,
but
right? Grim is down to that 17 HP left, but in the one-shot headshot game, and Kansan being on the other side of that gun is still an incredibly viable and impactful player. 12-5 he sits.
okay,
as they
I
start
need to
take a
fucking turn
second
that off
look
immediately.
and open up some of those spaces down below.
Yeah, when he was dropped
Viewer
from Sonics, I think
rewards,
the whole Siege community
Power-ups
went
and channel
just
points,
shook their heads.
rewards.
It was like BCJ and Valorant. It was like, I actually don't have a very strong comparison for CS, but one of those players where he got dropped and you were like, what? This guy's absolutely nasty and showing exactly that.
The fact that it's only
Unfortunately for
40 is
Aerial Rise,
insane.
Unfortunately for WildCard, it's not Kansan to take
They're
the next
always
gunfight. It's
enabled?
Sliker
I
who's going
can't
to
turn
end
it
up getting
off?
Cut down. So,
What?
Aerial Arise, you have a man advantage. You have 50 seconds left. All you need to do is just kind of bunker down and stay alive.
Oh, I can make it 10,000
Get
points, though.
away with this, stay
It's the
alive
max
in
I can set the
game
price. All
and
right, we'll do
maintain
that.
Your advantages and maintain your chances of going 3-0 during the Swiss stage.
And now the full rotate back below. You
I can
see
also
all
make it so
three
you can
defenders
only do
getting
it every
themselves
7
set up,
days.
Down, and hold on to that bunker down strat now. Still got the smokes in play.
There we
26
go.
seconds left. It's going to force those attackers into some critical gunfights that maybe can be a little bit more advantageous here for the defense. That is going to be Thermite to get taken down. Mike W just going absolutely insane, finds the double and wins the round for his team.
This was 6-2. Could this be another game where at match
Oh, wait, I get
point,
money for it?
the, theoretically favored side and the theoretically more strong team-based and structured-based
Oh,
team
I didn't realize I
falls
get. I thought it
apart
was
to
channel
heroics on
points.
the other side. We've seen
Sounds
it
good, Red
before,
Roke. Wait, let me
and
turn it back
unfortunately
on.
for last game, the structured and the very team-focused team of Fluffy Aimers ended up winning it out against Upper Decky. But for this game, Aerial Arise are really starting to pose a threat at this point. For WildCard,
All right, back to
it's 2
normal.
rounds
I
in a
appreciate
row
your
that
change. Thank you very much.
3 rounds. No, yeah, 2 rounds in a row. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself.
Professional
3 rounds
streamer.
after this
If
one.
you don't look
But
at the
Aerial
stream and
Arise
think
are
I'm a
starting to
pro,
put together momentum.
what's wrong with you?
Maybe I am. Hey,
What you're
I
watching
told
right
you,
now is
I-
peak
I-
streamer.
I-
You may not like what it looks like,
Maybe I'm just clairvoyant.
but this is what peak
Could be
streamer
the case.
is.
I'm here for it. Let's bring it back. Let's make it as close as we can. This is the only siege that we have left this evening. I want as much as we can get. So you're right. We said wildcard had, or excuse me, Aerial Rise had to be perfect.
Would I like to
4
see
in a
current
row.
wildcard
They
at a
have
LAN
to.
event,
They're
Bosco
on
and
their
Rampy
defensive
return to
side, so,
LAN?
yeah,
I honestly think
feeling
it's a
pretty
better
good
story
about
if we just
bring
get
the double,
some newer
bridge
teams
denial,
coming up.
Bring the castle, bring the mirror, and the
Like, I
air
think a
denial
team
of
like
the
Beast
smoke.
Coast going to LAN is like a
Set
better
up
storyline than like a
pace.
team
When
like
they've done
Wildcard.
it, it's worked out for 'em. The
Wildcard,
problem
I
is
just feel
now
like
we're gonna see a little bit of that pocket strat, right?
aren't
King
good
Candela
enough,
is gonna be coming out
and I don't
inside
see
of
them getting good
Wildcard as
enough
well. And
in
the
time,
you can't
like
see, I can't
without
see
making
scenario,
changes.
Wildcard usually comes out on top.
And I kind of would like to see like the best teams going to LAN.
The slow push out of Wildcard. Once again, they're clearing towards basement. They're doing their due diligence because out of Aerial Arise, there's 3.
Like, I think
scores
LG
forward.
making
Win.Please
LAN is a
doesn't
way
have C4.
funner
That's a
story than
corporate
Wildcard
camera,
making LAN.
Patrick. For Aerial Arise, though, The triple C4 setup.
Like, I
means
think
that
it's easier to be hyped for
a
the young
site
new
like this
guys.
with such a
I get
solid
that, like,
floor, even as you're getting
maybe
plant down,
WildCard will
you
draw
never
more
really
viewership
be
because,
safe,
like,
and
WildCard is,
especially
like,
with the
more
vertical angles the
recognizable.
aerial rise are
But I don't think
setting
it's a
up.
bad thing to,
As
like,
you enter into
make
clear,
new fans
it's
of
going to
LG
be
by sending them to the
incredibly
LAN,
difficult
you
as
know?
well for WildCard.
Oh, so 3 up in the 2F location. Right? Three hold